Inside, it's Wriggle. And, of course, he's here. It's Corsair in the upper right.
Hailing from the upper right of Secluded Grove, it's Corsair. Alright, so, full disclosure, my scroll wheel on my mouse has been broken for about 3 years. And I know I should get a new mouse, but it's not going to happen.
Frank, given that his name is Corsair, do you think we're going to see something like a bit of a smooth brain move, or is this going to be pretty rough for him overall?
Well, first off, I need to refer to Solid Z, who screamed at me to change the scene, which I very much appreciate. So now we're actually casting. It wouldn't be a couch cast without just awful production from yours truly. But from Corsair, are we going to see what now? Say it again.
Well, his name is Corsair, so are we going to see something rough, or is it going to be a bit of a smooth brain take here with the fast expansion?
Ooh, okay. I thought for sure you were going to go like Lord of the Rings, like the Corsairs from the Men of the South that came to fight in the Battle of Gondor. But no, you went punny. You went kind of dad joke on that one. I'm gonna say, I think this isn't the first Corsair. This isn't the first Corsair series that we've casted today. So I think we're gonna actually be seeing some more wrinkles on his mind. We're gonna be seeing him like learn. It's like that one South Park episode where Steve Jobs is trying to get the computer to learn. It's like it's learning. I think we're gonna see Corsair pulling out some interesting builds here, but he does build a barracks on the low ground, so that's gonna be nice for the Lancer that wants to. Okay. Oh no, it's just the Lancer going for the health camp. Nothing new there. Doggy gets a good scout on all of this nonsense, and it looks like the brute did die, but it must be those two. Must have been a manual split because it's those two fiends that still have white health on them. We've also
the splitting image of that brute.
The splitting image, beautiful. Thank you, Itano. You are ready for fatherhood, my friend. You are.
Yes.
You need the cargo shorts and the sunscreen on your nose and the whole 9 yards.
You assume I don't have it already.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't already have it. I got things in the splitting. I'm in the splitting image of fatherhood already. You know, I've got that coarse hair. I heard that's necessary.
Oh my God, Itano!
We know what's happening in the early game. We have to make it exciting somehow, you know. We had the great Lord of Phil, right? They call me Philemon Yarrow because I take you to a destination you've never seen before.
Oh my God. I'm so happy that we're recording every single one of these. I can't wait for all of YouTube to know who you are on the inside.
Philemon Yarrow?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, we're getting from Wriggle in the chat that this is a very cursed series, so that makes me very excited. Oh, no, get it! Go back! No! Okay.
No. Oh, dang it. I was hoping that it would be a deliberate thing where he's like, I'm not going to take this energy camp, because that way Corsair's not going to know that I just killed this energy camp. But he's taking it anyway, so...
The only time I've seen that happen is was during the Soup Invitational, where it was like the Brood War and SC2 pros that would they would get the resources and they wouldn't actually take the camp. But even if that does happen, like, you can still, I mean, no one's actually going to do this and like peek over and look at the gray outer ring that's slowly ticking down, but it still pops up.
Right. Yeah, it's a good point because especially when you've got this infernal gameplay, being able to tell or not tell is pretty damning.
There's some dead brutes. Man, that's really brutal.
Oh my God, both of you are just unbelievable. Down goes the scout. A couple Lancers chasing the fiends because we're going to talk about Stormgate now.
Yeah, up goes the viewership, by the way. The puns are doing the work.
Yeah. Oh, man, what a fiendish act by that Vulcan.
Oh, all right. I'm leaving the call.
Well, that's fitting because, you know, a friend is just a fiend with an R, and Wriggle has been wiggling his way into a good position. But now that he's added the R, he's added a new dimension to his game as he's gone ahead and picked up this shrine over here.
You know, Itano, I agree. Weavers are a good counter to Vulcans, and now that they're doing that percent max health damage...
Get a good stomp on the Lancers, though. The Lancers not having as much HP as they once did, so they're really feeling that. The Vulcan doesn't really care about the Weaver's percent damage, but
I think the Vulcan should care about the percent damage, and the Vulcan should be focusing the Weaver instead of the Magmadon, because we know that the Vulcan's not going to do any damage at all to the mags, but it should shred through the Weaver, right? Because it's light tagged. I mean, 500 damage is 500 health is quite a bit, but maybe not.
Also interesting to note, just historically, how well Infernal players have gotten at turning off the first couple of Lancers, such that there's no fear of the promotion, and Magmadons are set up, because previously you had to make hard walls to stop the Lancers from getting in and wrecking all of your imps, but the change to light for the armor tag, and the fact that Magmadons are now pre-positioned builds are a bit more solid, means that there wasn't really any fear there on the part of Wriggle. It's a pretty good adaptation we're seeing in the meta. Yes, it's informed by patches, but this gameplay not patchy, not spotty in the slightest. So we see
did they see? Yeah, they did see it. They're gonna instantly turn around and yeah. Now this Harbinger's like, oh, sad floating noises.
Sorry, can I get that sad floating sound again?
Sad floating noises.
Okay. Well said.
You're welcome.
Appropriate.
Yeah. We'll get sponsored to do ASMR one of these days. Frank's casting ASMR. Oh no. Yes. Oh, I'm not going to speak that into existence. That's not. Nope.
Maybe we can get you. I've heard you do voiceovers and other Stormgate content. Maybe we can get you to do like one of those light novels people keep talking about. So we see a defensive move out over here from Wriggle, just seeing what's going on and spreading some more of the shroud. Because the more that it's spread, the faster the Weavers get to do what they're doing. I think all of this is in anticipation of getting mid-map control as the 4th is going up.
Okay, so I'm curious about both your guys' perspective on this, actually. A lot of people don't... I see a lot of people not making effigies and not making the effigy highway. I know it's almost mandatory now that you have Weavers out, just so you have the move speed. But what do you think about making an effigy highway just because it's good to have Shroud on the map, even though it costs you Animus? Like, is it still fine just for that regen and to make sure that Plague Axes stay up, or is it just a waste of Animus because you want to save up for a dragon later?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting call. I think that there's a lot of people who are used to a mechanic like this. They lean into what the game design tells them to do. As we see Vulcans come over here to the 4th, there's a couple of imps, and some of them are going to run away. One of them is not going to run away. In fact, the Hornet promotes as it goes ahead and takes that down, shrines out a quarter, a 10th, 5%, and it's completely gone. A couple more imps that have been misrallied are going to be over there and get some damage. There's actually a couple of gaunts here taking the health camp at the same time, but luckily, Wriggle is more than happy to take the camp. Corsair just grabs the shrine and then backs out as we see a counterattack come over here to the top side.
I love that this is a permanent effigy too. It drops down, and that means it's going to have the reduced cooldown. So even if there was an effigy that was placed right in the middle of the camp, so everything here could benefit from it, it still takes less time to like leapfrog the effigies. So many Exos coming along, and they're going to be scared of the Stompy boys coming on forward, but. It's not the Stompy boys that should be out front. It should be the Weavers. The Weavers aren't going to be taking that bonus damage. And no? It's just a normal Shroud Stone. But because it's a normal Shroud Stone, that means that a Super Stone could get dropped right next to it. We see Hellborn all the way in the back. Oh no! Are they gonna keep attacking? This is why I don't like using that all army hotkey. Letting those Hellborn continue to attack while you're microing your shorter range units. I think that damage really adds up quickly. So having the Hellborn just not automatically added to the spacebar hotkey is pretty good, and I think that'll be the end of that skirmish. A base for a base, but I think a lot more was lost over here on the Vanguard part of the map, because over here was literally just a shrine, and the imps, they came up and around the tree line, and they had a Harbinger right there that could have lifted off and teleported home. But yeah, that'll be the end of the aggro there.
Yeah, you might even say, by the way, it's a good thing we were talking about the effigies, because it turns out the conversation was pretty efficacious as we saw the interaction happen there between the two 4th base locations.
I'm going to mute you.
Well, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, but you know what can't be muted is this fucking banging analysis. So right here, we're going to see if there's going to be a bang or a bit of a whimper as he's pushing up over here by the meat farms. The Pelhog's actually giving plenty of vision and understanding as to what's happening. I agree with your point that there was more loss for the Vanguard player for Corsair, but I actually think that Wriggle is really going to be needing the Ethereum. Look at the Ethereum value right here. Yes, you've got a huge supply lead, but the Ethereum's just kind of trickling in. You really need that third source, right? To be coming in. It's really important to Infernals, especially because you want those Hellborns, you want those Weavers, because they negate some of the micro potential that the Vulcans represent. But the effigy push over here has been pretty good for Wriggle. Like, look, you're on the bottom side, you're at the 6 o'clock position, you've got a creep highway, you've got a shroud weave highway over here. You have the ability to drop it anytime you want. This is going to be a quick check over here, see if the 4th has been recaptured, and the answer is no. And now you're in a really bad spot as Corsair, because assuming you want the 4th, because you want the Luminite more, where do you actually go to get the Luminite?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I think neither player really wants to take the cursed center base yet, but I think because of the way that the vision camp works, you don't want to be... Like, if you want to be risky with it, you could take this, and there's no way that your opponent would know that you're mining off of the patches that are on your side, but that's not really maximizing the efficiency that you're getting out of this. The idea is that you're next to 2 Therium patches and 2 Luminite mines, so you want to be mining off of all of them at the expense of knowing that if your opponent has their health camp, or their vision camp, they're going to see your workers. There's not enough range for the vision camp to see the structure itself, but they will see the workers picking up resources and going back. And as I'm speaking, that's so many Exos that are getting stunned here.
Whoa.
Molten Touch is finished, but so is Survival Protocol.
Huge amount of damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to get it, but look, the Magmadons are even through. They're wading through the Exo Survival Protocol. A lot of them are going to get torn through. None of them are going to get microed out. This supply deficit we were talking about before is about 70. Before it's now ballooned to 80, almost 90. And yeah, you've got a ton of, you've got, the opposite of what you want in Vanguard. Look at that, tons of Therium, no Luminite. And the cheekiest sentries and mobs you've ever seen.
You know what?
You know, I don't know what in the rear with the beer actually looks like, but I suspect attacking a shrine.
Oh my God.
You know, that's got to be what it is. There has to be like a blood alcohol content of at least 1 infernal pint if you're going to be doing that with your mobs.
I'm pretty sure in the rear with the beer was a jackass stunt in the second movie, but we won't discuss that on a family-friendly stream.
You know what wasn't family friendly though is the fact that all those mobs were absolutely destroyed, and if they have any sentience, they'll be taking it with them to fictional Stormgate hell.
Fictional Stormgate hell, I like it. It's always interesting to see. For me, it's fun to watch worker versus worker fights, just because, like, okay, the imps could micro because they're ranged enough that they do benefit from being in a blob, but the bobs are tough, and like it's like I guess there actually is a little bit of, like, min-maxing that you can do in a worker fight. As stupid as that sounds, like, you could... There is, like, some strategy. There's some micro to it.
As if the rest of the state of the game wasn't enough of an indication, because Corsair is going to be losing his own vision camp over here. It's very important that actually the Luminite and the Therium camps in the bottom right-hand side, and the Therium in the upper left-hand side has been captured over here by Wriggle, as we get another hilarious Bob-on-Fiend interaction. You know, I guess that's what the song Bobberant was first about, attempting to go ahead and recapture this health camp. But look at all of the camps that are owned by Wriggle, and remember that that's about 3 imps worth of Therium mining, at least at last calculation. So the army is smaller over here for Corsair, and there's one helicarrier, but I don't think it's going to be helicarrying this fight.
Dragon's out as well, getting a huge Plague Breath on every single Exo that's out there, and the Exos were taking massive damage from those stomps. There's the well played from Corsair, and it turned into a... Man, it went all the way up to tier 3. We got to see dragons. We got to see, like, the entire map being taken. This was a really fun match. GG's, guys. Here we go. You know what? We're just gonna continue to catch commentary while we're in between games. So I know... I'm sorry, man. I know I was talking over you once or twice there. What'd you think of the game? Hello? Hello?
You just cut out for a second.
Oh, I was asking, like, what did you think of the game? It was pretty scrappy in my estimation, but what did you think strategy wise? They went all the way up to tier 3. I know helicarriers are good against mass ground, but not so much against the tier 2 infernal units. I don't know that helicarrier really has a place in the game at the moment. It seems like there's too many. Maybe against, like, Celestials or Vanguards if there's Vectors or Hedgehogs, just because they don't have that much health. But against tier 2 units for Infernals, like, I imagine the bombers just tickle them.
No, I don't think so. Bombers actually do a lot of damage. Once you get like 2 is enough for like small stuff. Do they do a bonus to armored? I think they might. But like 4, 5, 6 helicarriers, that'll still do more than enough damage against those kinds of things. And the insane range they have with that bombing run is just so helpful. But yeah, it's just like a more supply efficient way of dealing with ground, because then you can just make this thing, it deals with the majority of the ground. Then you just make a few hornets to clear up the rest and to fight the aliens. So then you can just go pure Sky Vanguard, I think. Sky Guard.
Sky van, the flying van. Yeah.
It's like Plants vs Zombies.
I'll sack
It's the
my
opposite
Hexen
of the
anyway.
flying heel bus, right? It's the flying van. It's the flying soccer van.
The flying death van instead of the flying heel bus. Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Play your game. Oh, he wants to kill the dog! He gets this around! What a play!
That's sick.
Oh my
That's sick.
goodness! Wriggle.
That was
actually-
actually filthy.
Oh my
His
goodness.
brain is actually
he lets it
infinite.
die.
And then it
What
lets
did
Hexen
I
die.
just
What-
He
watch?
lets it die.
The
He's like,
most
no
turd.
scouting this game.
Tell me we're streaming.
What
this.
did I?
Tell me
Yeah,
that-
yeah.
Okay, good, nice. Tell me that people can see that. I want WTFs in the chat.
Oh
please,
my
everyone.
god.
Hey, I want everyone to tell me who is winning now that we've traded a Hexen for a Scout, a la Suicide by Creep, right?
Oh my god. That was the filthiest dog trap I've ever seen in my life.
That's pretty fucking spicy.
I think if the dog had been skulled, I think you can still save that fiend too, because the fiend is the fiend smaller than the dog. Could it escape? I think it could.
Well, it had already locked into a new target by that point. They then locked into the Hexen,
Yeah.
which he could have also saved if he decided to move. But that's
Oh
that's
my
really funny. So by the way, I remember
God.
Wriggle telling me this, but I forgot until he just mentioned it then. They'd actually played. They actually played another game, but Wriggle crashed, or someone crashed halfway through. So this is a replay of the second game. Not a replay of the second game. It's the third game because the second game didn't complete.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
In which apparently he lost his Hexen, I think. So I don't think it was deliberate, but it's still really funny. Oh dear. We got a 3-base, triple base first. Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah, I've seen
like
this. This is also not the first time that I've seen Corsair do this. I think it is super interesting. I'm also curious about non-infernal players building moron structures. So like the Therium Purifier, I would imagine it's not really as big of an issue, but like a moron scrapyard, like right here, would that be worth it as a Vanguard player, or are you just not?
That's not a Moron scrapyard because that's exactly what the scrapyard's for. It's a Moron shrine because it's more efficient to put the shrine in somewhere where it can harvest Luminite and Therium.
Yeah.
But they're putting it, like it's a Moron shrine because they're not putting it on like for
On
example,
Luminite.
the Therium at the third base. They're putting it at the Therium in the main base, which you can already mine. It's just like slightly better.
But
That's
how
why
does it pay off then? I don't like. I get that MSRM makes it pay off, but it's just insane to me that it's still like is better than building a third essentially.
It depends on the strategy. Really.
Letting his Gaunts tank the damage is a choice, but there's enough DPS here that it won't matter all that much. And Plague Axes are out that
There's
we've
no
got.
way to feed Sedai.
We've got quite a pack of.
And this is Wriggle.
Yeah, this is Wriggle.
No. Did you say MSRM or is that just?
No, I was as an example because MSRM I think is the person that took the Moron Shrine from a meme to like it's like no, this is legitimate. This is a
It
legitimate
was like,
play.
hang on a second.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
something
yeah,
to
yeah.
this.
Yeah,
Now we're
yeah.
going to see if Speed can actually take advantage of the fact that their low ground third is starting, because it is still the year of our Stormgate 2025, and people put low ground thirds. I will never understand.
Ground thirds.
Like this low ground third as opposed to
Because
this
you
one.
have a high ground third, and you have to defend against the trees that are in the back there anyways, because if you don't defend against it, you'll get attacked by it, and it's high ground. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know,
Well,
man.
The trees do act as a barrier for certain, like, they only really go through the trees for main attacks. Other than that, you don't actually have to worry about run bys, except for that, from that, that, so you only really have one attack location. Plus, you get to control that health camp, which, you know,
It's really
bad if you have
valuable.
any
Yeah.
mobs that they just start picking at your natural. So it's definitely good to do that, if you're fine for Therium at least. I think the triangle third is better if you're planning to stay on 3 bases for a long time and just like tech up or something, but that's not what Corsair's doing to the it's just like a 3 base tech up straight away.
Beautiful Nightfall Infestation right there. Now these mobs are going to attempt to heal Hugs, and the Fiends might get distracted by these Exos.
Oh, the Exo might not have anyone to heal hug him, and he's getting hugged right into an early grave, and then there's another one that's going to go down some War Fiends. This is starting to become a bit of a runaway situation. The Overcharge is going to run out shortly. The heal hugs are not as good as that, and yeah, the Lancers will finally show up over here. But that's a lot of lost mining time for the cost of, what, 8 Fiends? That's pretty good.
Yeah, lost mining time and
that
the
was
orbital
good.
energy that got spent. Like that's all orbital energy that could have been a emergency promotes or whatever. Radar dog, or no, it's not a radar dog anymore. It's the fidget spinner.
Yeah, it's a Triskelion,
Yeah.
actually.
I think that was actually good for Corsair there, because he opened up with 3 base, so he's got more money anyway. And not losing any bobs, having those Fiends waste all that time and then lose some as well. Didn't really get any bobs. Like, you don't really care about mining time as long as you're killing units. Any
Oh.
amount of units. Ooh, that's a good health control there.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a good fight for Wriggle. He's got the speed camp, so he's just kind of... He's essentially got Raging Tenders without having Raging Tenders.
Yeah.
You can't stand there when they're infested and there's a Hellborn shooting.
Yep. Evac's trying to get some high ground vision. For anyone who's wondering how that's happening, wasn't tracking that the Evac is allowing all that to happen, but even recapturing the speed camp doesn't matter because you're not going to get on top. There's a Magmadon or two and a bunch of guns. You're never going to get on top of the Hellborn. So Corsair's going to walk back home and say, okay, I guess you are taking a third. Interesting. And then just move on to the next phase of the game.
So it seemed like for about 2 weeks, it was popular for people to get a med station. They would build. I would see Vanguard players build a sentry turret like right here and turn it into a med station. And if you're going bio, that AOE heal is just so good. Your unit count is extremely high, and you don't necessarily need the focused attention of like med techs to heal up 1 or 2 units. It's getting that AOE heal spread across a lot of different units at once. But we're not seeing... it just dropped off. For some reason, people stopped doing it. Is it just too expensive, or is it a supply thing, or... I don't know what the cause of that is.
Wriggle was like in position, and then as the army came into vision, he just kept running away. Anyway, we see just regular Magmadons trying to stomp their way forward, but the Exos are keeping out of range, managed to kill one. Okay, one Exo's gonna die. Not gonna eat the vegetables, so Frank is going to lose.
You know, we were talking
years of his life.
We were talking before you, Frank, about this idea of do you take the health camp third, do you take the triangle third? Obviously, more Therium needed over here on the part of the Infernals. And when you get these early Hellborns, I actually find you have more ability to defend than maybe most people would suspect, right? Because they're not very fast units, but they defend against air and ground. It's a pretty short walk path, right? It's pretty easy to be in position, as we saw earlier, and even getting out of position isn't too bad. And now there's just going to be a sieging action over here as the speed camp is going to get captured. Harbinger obviously opting for vision there. And actually, ooh, and a quick cheeky drop down right there goes ahead and gets the solar habitat that was part of the biokinetic slab, and the biokinetic slab itself. That going down is not good if you want your tier 3 exo abilities. Hanger going down is also just negative. This is looking like a painful siege.
No! Flat cannons are so good! Flat cannon! Down goes the BK Lounge! Down goes the BK Lounge! Hellborn! Oh my god! Oh my god, Hellborn. Hellborn.
Okay.
Being able to stop exo production, even for a little bit, would have been pretty good, I think. And oh, isn't that where Survival Protocol comes from as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Quick catch of the speed
can't
camp
actually-
there,
yeah.
and then on seeing that Vision is being recaptured, has to move the entire army out of the way, not wanting to fight an entrenched Vanguard player as they're going ahead, have the Vision pushing into the potential third base location. We see the evac load up, but we don't know where for or to what purpose quite yet. There's a bit of jockeying in position now. So what do you want to see out of Wriggle? Wriggle looks like he's got a more advantaged position. Yes, he's now climbing up to 4 base against the has been established 4th base. Did some damage over to the natural, and as we have a big fight happen, is it going to actually be a committal? We got Magmadons on the tall side of a ramp and 5 Hellborns with the Harbinger division.
We I wonder how far along. There we go. See the Hellforge. Is Molten Touch done? It must have just finished up. No, it's not even started yet. All right, 7 exos about to pop. Oh, beautiful pop! Oh, they can just auto attack that thing to death probably. No, imps. No.
That's scary. He's got a blue gun.
Yeah.
Pew pew.
Also, you see how the gun makes him a little bit faster? Let's see if it's fast enough. He's going to go ahead and burn down this first Magmadon over here. Doesn't even bother stomping and starts trying to stomp to run away. Does manage to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4 are over here, like it's the count to 10 for Sesame Street, and a whole bunch of Hellborns that are over here. Actually, that's the high ground evac that's going to be taken care of. And what's great is now the Infernal player finally has what they would always want, which is what no patch will ever give: a movement speed in the dodge of the infestation. A Weaver is going to go grab head, exactly what they want to get to go get the med tech, and the kiting force actually can't kite if their lure and movement speed. Front line of the X's that have already been broken down in the Immortality Protocol. There's going to be another pull over here from the Hedgehog, and the evac actually can't just be as far forward as it like. One more Hellborn shot's going to be able to take it out as well. Speed is finally run out, but actually that's a huge amount of damage that's been done in this army. It looks like Corsair is running into the coarsest position they could possibly imagine. Now finally Quick Draw Hustle giving them the movement speed advantage. There was one more Magmadon going to go down, and actually there's not any Magmadons left, and it looks like the turnabout might be fair play.
Yeah, the Magmadons are all gone, so that's almost it for the front line here for Wriggle. I was kind of hoping that we would see some more Weavers, but without that Shroud Highway, it's going to be a struggle for them to get forward. Not that it matters all that much now that Molten Touch is done. Oh, yeah.
No medtechs, no active healing against this damage over time, and then these exos are just going to melt.
Yeah.
So this is the best flame touch combo GG's already called.
Rinse in Parmesan, pepperoni, pastrami, peanut
Wriggle
M&Ms.
stick
Are we
around
allowed
for
to
a
do?
while?
Are we allowed to do campaign spoilers on this stream?
Absolutely not. No, well, wait. Well, not if. Don't say anything that's gonna get me. If it's already content that's released, go for it. But if it's
It is
not
already content.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
I'm content to tell you it's already content. So,
Okay.
much like the end of Mission 6, Resistance in Pieces. There you go. There you go.
Wriggle, you like to stay in games after you've won just to watch the opponent's buildings pop? I don't blame you. I could see there being a little bit of satisfaction with that. All right, next series, let's do. You know what? We've got Wriggle in chat. Might as well do a Wriggle versus Mokri.
Invite Wriggle. Tell Wriggle. Join.
Wriggle, yeah, Wriggle.
seen-
You gonna cast with us?
Wriggle, come on.
You know, I saw you wriggle your units across the map. Now it's time to waggle your tongue and give us some of your perspective. Come on now.
Come on now.
Are you okay? You sound like you've never heard so many dad jokes concentrated in one place. The last time there was this
No.
much concentrate, it was an O.J. Simpson trial.
Usually I'm the one who's supposed to be making these. Like, what the heck?
Australians are like inordinately
You're dressed
talented.
to
at-
do it. Wrong scene, Frank.
Wrong scene, Frank.
Got it. Thank you,
By the way,
Solid
the
G.
fact that you have that is sick. By the way, that you just leaned into the meme like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I feel
definitely
like I
not
could be like-
intentional. Like people
Yeah.
might think that I'm memeing about that, but I legitimately do
No.
forget to change the scene almost every day.
I feel like we could get you hooked up with Solid JJ and be like, meanwhile on the fields of battle, and we just smash cut to you going to get like Freddy's burgers or something like that. Wrong scene, Frank. Can you imagine
What's a
if you ever
phrase
get
program?
sponsorship? Anyways, this sponsorship, which doesn't exist, is brought to you by Adidas. You show a picture of a Nike. Like,
Yeah.
okay, it's not even Nike shoes, it's Nike, the goddess of victory, and you're like, wrong seat, Frank, turn it around.
Damn it,
You're not
Frank.
even on the right membership.
All right. Oh, this is another thing. This is kind of like more of a high level question, but how do you guys feel about like these early game mandatory mini micro battles where it's like, okay, the Hexen will walk towards your base and the dog will win a 1v1, but it's like, I know it gives the players something to do, but I think it's not that hard to like know what to do. It's like, okay, once your dog gets low, go grab the cabbage, come back, re-attack, and then like force them away. Is that interesting to play with, or is that one of those things where it's like the Reaper versus Zerglings, where in the long run, it's really not going to matter. It doesn't take that much, like, I don't want to say skill, but like there's not much to it. It's like, all right, attack, leave, heal.
So the difference I would stress there is that one of the things, like, for instance, yes, okay, match fixing, etc. We'll leave that aside. The player Life was known for being really good with his lings, so you could actually see ahead of other people how his interactions were with Reapers, SEVs, like scouts, things of this nature. But much like that, it's now just assumed, I think Tastosis talks about how there's just a tax. It's the are you a pro tax. I'm going to have a Reaper, you're not going to kill it, and you're going to have Lings and drones, and I'm not going to kill any of those, right? That's the tax. I don't think I would mind the interaction as much if it happened a bit faster, right? If there was, like, more to the interaction. I feel like even at my relatively low level, I don't see that interaction happen any other way than I'm experiencing here. What do you think, you? Come on.
I think Clem.
Clem.
Oh, okay. No, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry,
There you go.
Sorry.
Okay. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I just picked an old example because I watched it when it wasn't guaranteed that was the tax that it would happen that way. What about you, Wriggle? You? Either one of you want that interaction to be like maybe a bit more robust as we're seeing the scouting happening over here and the first creep camps get taken?
Yeah, do you think it's too fast? Do you think it's meaningful enough, or is it just I like that idea that it might be a tax, but yeah, what do you guys think?
No, I think it's good.
I mean,
because
halfway through the
it has, like,
conversation.
Oh, Wriggle's with
One of
us.
those was being stupid.
Yay!
Asked me to come in.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I think the kind of early game interaction between Reaper, Zergling, and Hex and Dog is good. Like, it just adds something. And obviously you can't make it too impactful because then either if, say, the dog dies, like if or not too impactful rather, you can't make it too robust in the sense that it's hard to predict what's going to happen, because then that'll just affect the rest of the game way too much, right? You're going to have either that or it's not going to matter at all and no one's ever going to care what the result of this thing is.
So you don't want it to be too volatile, but you also don't mind that it has an impact.
Yeah. Like, it's
Okay.
there, but like you just can't change the state of the early game too much. It's like a very sensitive part of the game. If you have something that matters too much, it's just going to cause too much of a difference.
So
Whenever something happens, right?
I would actually just a little bit disagree there. I would be fine if it mattered a whole lot. Like, if the dog was a lot more valuable, the same way that the Hexen is early game, like not being able to cast skulls anymore for an Infernal in the early game is, I mean, I've GG'd out of games before because of that, because it's like, okay, now I don't get Fiends, and now I can't snowball through creep camps anymore. It just feels like absolutely hopeless if I lose my Hexen. But if a Vanguard loses a dog, no big deal. I do like that though, because it's it still keeps you engaged if it's high risk enough that what is happening with these dancing fiends? Anyway, it's
I've got a song for that when you're done. Go on.
Anyway, no, I think that having the early game units being so valuable that if you lose them or if you miss micro them, that it's, it can snowball into something huge. Totally okay with that. It's an expression of skill where it's like, okay, it doesn't have to be a really big army to have a really big impact. And I think having that kind of having that kind of interaction, even in the early game, makes it so that people don't like, all right, well, I'm going to go get a box of donuts. I'll come back when the game's actually interesting and there's tech units on the map. It still keeps it interesting, even though there's tier 1, tier 0 units on the map that you just got for free, you know?
Speaking of the interest here, Wriggle, you move across the map, you get the speed camp, you see that they're not taking the triangle third. I gotta ask, how happy are you with that early game interaction where you traded, I want to say, like your fiend count and maybe 2 gaunts for all of the Lancers and almost all of the Exos? I imagine you're pretty happy with that.
It's pretty nice when Vanguard players just dive in and die.
Yep, I imagine so.
That's quite a few Bobs getting turned into
Got the
fiends as well.
Strongest, fastest units. Stop just running them in and dying. Just run away, heal up, come back, repeat.
Yeah, also there was a lot of energy that was
Oh,
expressed
God.
on those. There was 2 promotes that got used on Lancers to try and keep them alive after it was obvious that their time for DPS had run out because the Magmadon wasn't chunked out of its white health, and then a second Magmadon even shows up. And so while we see this force is going to be a little bit threatening, has the classic quick draw hustle capability, you know, something for the Molten Touch, for the Hellborns to heal the backup. This force of Mokri's looks like it's should be filled with mockery, as it were. That's a name pun, by the way, because I just don't see how it's going to get too much done.
Unbelievable.
On top tier, you don't understand.
Words
like,
fail me.
I'm literally
could
like
say
Ken
that,
Ashmore predicted. Yeah, come on.
You could say Mokri's army's got a bit of moxie moving around here.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. There
What has my stream become? Is this? Do I deserve this?
You know, if he takes another bad engagement, he'll be doing a lot more crying.
Oh my God! What have I done?
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh, the health camp resets right in the middle of the fight too. So now it's now Wriggle can't really fight from that much of an advantageous position. But I think yeah, Mokri's backing up enough that it won't matter. It can get cleaned up. It can get cleaned up any minute. There we go. And now it's going to be a lot more of a...
comes back. Very nice. Living life on the edge. Oh, well, rather wriggling on the edge.
There we go.
You might say his aggression is ramping up as he goes and takes the high.
Oh my God!
No!
No, this is now a Vision Camp appreciation stream. Look, it's like a smiley face. We got the eye, and the big old smile. Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
There you go. I can't see that anymore. That's pretty good.
Just fine. What the heck? Oh my goodness.
So that was probably the punniest thing that I've dealt with all day.
That was really good. This is already going to be a great
I'm
episode.
with that.
Okay, so another question for you guys. When there's the Light Forestation here, I don't like on Isle of Dread that if you want to go...
Catch the Atlas. Catch the Atlas.
Oh, no!
Shield energy. Okay.
You know, Mockery might have an Atlas, but it is Wriggle who's seeing the whole thing with his vision cam.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might say Mockery wriggled out of this one because he had the defensive top bar ability, but he's going to keep the Atlas. What do you think the magic number is for Atlas?
Well,
are we looking at 3? Is that the break point?
Well, the Atlas was it's so valuable that really when you're trying to defend it, it feels like you've got the world on your shoulders. But he does manage to save it and get back, and now he's got his own speed camp.
Yeah, probably the best reason.
And not on any other map, I don't think.
I see. Probably the best reason to use the Atlas too is if you can get a map that's like ramp choked like this one, right? Because there's like many lanes if you imagine it, if you just piece the map out. If you can get your Atlases on a high ground and all together, 2 of them. Oh no! Oh god! He might have 2 Atlases, but he couldn't see that the world of pain was coming to him.
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, actually though, they didn't go so bad. Oh, until the Hellborn.
No, the Hellborn on the high ground are actually the thing that's painful here. There's like almost no. Look at the energy on the med techs. There's no energy. One of them's dead. One of them's got like 10% of its energy left. Right. Poor Mockery's. Yeah, poor Mockery's units are quick draw hustling into the next game at this rate. Like, I don't see how they're actually going to continue and win.
I think one effigy right here. Oh!
Oh, that was sick. That was actually pretty good. Oh, he just kills all of them. Yeah, Expo Survival Protocol. Is the Magmadon gonna get out? Maybe. Maybe. Holy.
Aw.
Okay. No, it doesn't. Vanguard's OP, guys.
Oh,
Confirmed.
dear. He wished his medics had drunk a Red Bull. They'll get more energy. They'll be able to fly away with their wings.
Yeah.
But they died, so his units have just been dying to infest this whole time.
Well, that's fitting because the counter to Red Bull is Monster, which is what Wriggle's bringing out here. How else would you classify
is.
Hellborn?
Ah, he really is.
The fire spiders?
Playing the monster faction, to be honest.
Yeah, he is. Oh no, he's shooting at the smiley face. No.
It's the nose. The other one.
The other nose.
The other nose. Okay, maybe it's more like a, I don't know, like a beauty spot below the eye. You know?
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Yep.
turning into quite a game, actually. I like this quite a bit.
Yeah. I'm surprised Mockery's not dead. So I feel like he was dead 5 minutes. Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah, I feel like. Ooh.
No, Dragon, what are you doing? Dragon!
Whoa.
Amazing micro out of me.
Oh, nice job on the cabbage.
I can't think of it right now.
I'm missing a huge fight.
One to think.
The dragon almost got exercised by the Exos.
Exorc. Nice.
Yeah, good idea.
I like it.
I couldn't think of the word for ages. I'm sorry. Okay. Microdons are in good positions, but they're not having enough health or the ability being activated. Going to retreat. He does not actually have that speed camp, so Mockery's going to run into the speed camp from the high ground. Or not. He might not use that to his advantage.
I don't think. I think camps will. They don't go up cliffs, but they'll go down cliffs. Like they
They
work.
do.
They work
No,
kind
they
of
go
like
up.
Shroud in that way.
No, they
Yeah,
go
let's
up.
see how
They
the-
go up
Do they?
cliffs, you can get the. Yeah. You can, if you have the speed camp and you run around from the north, you get the speed boost.
There's a
can't
very,
capture
very
it.
small little lip you can get.
It's not actually that small. I use it like every game.
Really?
So,
Yeah.
so this fight's been so this game's gone on a little bit longer than I thought it would, given what happened. Let's see if Wriggle's going to continue to drag this out.
Oh,
as much as
no!
possible. Go on, break out all the break through all
Wriggle
of the
keeps
survival
taking.
protocols. No,
Oh,
and
my
he's,
goodness.
no, there's not going to be a single surviving unit. It is going to look like the opening cinematic.
The you know what would have been great right there? I think just having a couple more gaunts to infest every single one of those exos, and you'd have a huge pack of these of fiends. There's the GG. Woo! That was some
Wriggle took so
fights.
many good fights that game, but
Yeah.
it took a long time
Yes.
to end it.
Remember, guys, Vanguard OP.
Vanguard is strong.
Yeah, Vanguard OP.
my God.
So,
OP.
you don't know how to kill them.
No.
I just did good fights until the game ends.
Yeah, that's my plan going into most games, but it doesn't actually pan out that way. Usually.
I think
Frank, you need a
Hellborn
different
definitely
plan.
need to be.
Yeah.
Hellborn
What-
definitely need to have more like a Colossus kind of role. We give him a bonus versus light instead of armor. You just make like 3, 5, or 6. You know, keep some of the damage versus buildings, but then have it mostly be for light units. I think that would be good for them. Because then like Hellborn would be really good, but not very many Hellborn, right? Like not getting an insane amount. Which their insane range and shooting both air and ground, they're both necessary, but it just makes them scale way too much. So if you limit its use to just that, then that way they'll still be good, but they won't scale super well. Anyway.
Yeah. That, and you don't want to over specialize into being anti-light, or else you just get
You also need something that kills.
I have another
As well.
suggestion, Frank, which is that, there is another solution taken by the people who occupy the low road in society, the thieves and robbers amongst us, namely myself. You can just pick
Robbers?
Vanguard at the selection screen, right? Then you don't have to worry about how powerful Infernals are or are not against Vanguard. It's actually a really high-level tech. Don't go telling people about it.
No. That's gonna stay between you and me.
Mm-hmm.
This is really
Good.
interesting. SimCity. I don't know. The more RTS I watch, the more I realize how valuable it is to have a way for your units to escape. So having it hard for units to come in and attack, but having it easy for your units to leave. Because I've seen it before where like not even newer players, but they'll like completely hermetically seal themselves in, and then like an Archangel will drop down, and then that's kind of it, or a Gaunt drop will happen. It's like, all right, well the Bobs are just kind of stuck there now, so GG's. But having an exit strategy, I think, is one of those things that doesn't get enough attention. Aw, one Fiend.
The Fiend did not go back. He slid too much on the slime,
Yeah.
and he couldn't run away.
You know what? I would have loved to see a skull pop on that dog.
The dog worth. Killing the dog is so nice.
What?
Oh,
What?
oh, JXP, is that you?
He's gonna build something. Bob's gonna build something. Can he fix this balance? Bob the builder.
I think that is the
Can he
pun.
Yes,
Build
he
it?
can.
That's the pun, isn't it? It's Bob's of the
time
Builders.
to get busy with a bunker too.
Exactly.
Put in the bobs for repair, and you know it won't end. Lancers here, killing the light units, putting in fear. We promote it?
Oh.
Yeah! Can we kill this? No! Bob the Builder. Okay, go for it.
You know that song.
Okay.
You know that song.
Bit of impression.
I have siblings. It's easy.
I can't believe. Yeah.
There we go.
Listen, if this was any more of a surprise, this is like having a gender reveal 2 years after the baby is born. Like, you just know everything that's happening in this build like 1 minute ago. If you're a Mockery and you're powerless to stop it.
I think this sentry post was very late. I think he could have made one like at the bottom of the health camp and taken the health camp and going for the natural.
What an actually
Whereas he's putting one directly
insane-
onto the Therium patch, and that's the first one that he builds, and now like all the Bobs are almost dead. Surprised they're not
Yep.
already dead, to be honest. But
How,
has something
like-
happened to the sound of the? Is it just me?
No,
The
it's not
sound.
just you. But what's crazy is this is going to be a repair-o-matic, by the way. The Magmadon has to stomp, try and kill all of the Bobs to make it happen. Just kill 2 of them, and there's the Super Strapstone. All 3 of the Bobs are going to die, right?
Yeah.
And there's just no way this lives. There's no way.
It's just G. There's no follow-up. There's no Therium. There's
Yeah.
no second base. I'm just gonna
No,
try and
there's
get
a
second base.
never doubt what a Vanguard player can do under pressure, right?
I really
Look at
like this,
this.
by the way. Clearing out these trees so that way you can like
This is
reinforce up
cool.
and down a lot easier. I love that.
Bro, Wriggle is underrated. He keeps wriggling out of like top 10 best players list somehow.
Yeah,
But it's like
it's pure
Why,
poppycock.
Frank? Why would you add that quote?
I was hoping you would catch that one.
That's
Drop
the-
150
that's the-
MMR in 2 days.
Oh yeah,
Why
the
would you-
big reset's happening here pretty soon, right? That'll be yeah, who knows? Wriggle for top spot. We might see it happen.
Frank's a big fan of conspiracy theories. He thinks Vanguard can do anything and then just have a great reset.
I'd have to fix the servers for that to happen.
I am gonna kind of miss the once the Infernals get their rework. I am gonna kind of miss the Brute's sword. The new one looks cool, but I think this one looks pretty cool as well. Oh well, I hope all these models stay in the game so that way, like, once customs happen, that we can still use, like, old Brute, old Gaunt, Felhog, may it rest in peace.
Yep.
Oof.
Because I only started playing StarCraft 2 when it was like in 2018. I didn't really play ladder properly until 2020-ish. And people keep talking about these old days. I wonder what this will be like. At least for me, it will be very different. For this, if this is going, and if this has a similar story to StarCraft, like 10 years from now, what are the people going to be saying? It's like, back in the beta days.
Yeah, I remember when...
Blade Dragon existed. Remember that unit? People
Yeah.
kept saying it was OP and they removed it now. It's so sad. It was such a cool unit.
Get a Bob in there! Repair! Repair! Ay, ay, ay.
Oh,
Oh, you
Hey
got the
guys, there
Exo
was
in
this
there
actual
briefly.
one patch where Celestial was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't won a tournament since 2021.
Back when I remember back when arc ships had to land and they had an auto attack.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's already really old.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I used to love that mechanic. I was like, oh yeah, this is so cool. Well, not the whole, you know, you have to cancel the unit when you lift it up and stuff, but like
Yeah.
the strat of just going across, landing it in the natural, and then just like building this big thing. I was just like, oh yeah. Because the very first thing I did on ladder, like ever, was actually with Protoss. Because I switched to Terran for a while, and I'm a Protoss player now. But anyway, what I did is I built like a perfectly diagonal row of like 4 cannons, and then you know fuel batteries behind them in front of the natural, but like in range of the natural, so they couldn't take it. That's what I just did at the start of the game. I was like, heh, you're trapped now. And that's what, you know, Celestial allowed me to do, but like at the high level. So there's just something nice about, you know, being able to do something like that.
I look forward to the days when I can say, hey, I remember people thought that there were cheaters who were spamming games and drop hacking, but no, actually you could end a game as Celestial in 58 seconds. By force.
Yeah.
I miss that image.
I
Right.
do miss that, man.
Or like the 1 month where Shroudstone Meat Farm Rush was like an automatic win against Celestials.
Yeah, you had to be like 500 MMR above your opponent to not just instantly lose the game.
Yeah.
I love that. Speaking of maps that won't be here 5 to 10 years from now, Isle of Dread.
Isle of Dread.
Yeah.
Listen, I am considered an asshole, so I get to get away with that. You could say that Isle of Dread is a sick map, and you want it to be around for a long time, but
I think it is. I think there are too many camps on the periphery. There's too many camps. The number of camps on this map is too damn high. And I don't like that the middle. I like the concentration of. Whoa, I'm not gonna. I like the density. There we go. The density of camps
I like
in the middle here. But I think that there should be like maybe a bridge between the 2 health camps, just so that the rush distance is a little bit shorter.
Because then you just have 2 health camps that are just right there. I like the setup,
I think
especially the Luminite camps. I'm not sure about the small trees, but
I love that we are universally agreed that Isle of Dread is like Isle of Dead to us, but no one can agree what they would do to fix it.
I think building a land
You
bridge
know
here would be
what?
great because like it makes the Luminite camps super vulnerable, and like both of these health camps are something worth fighting over, you know. And if you don't want to fight over the bridge, well, there's a lot of map that you can just go around and fight on.
you fight over them. But like, well, you can't just like fight on the bridge at most points in the game just because one player is going to have some kind of, you know, overwhelming advantage compared to the other player. I think like the health camps are good because you can kind of stage your army there while you sit outside your opponent's base.
Yep.
So the placement and stuff is good. I thought of something though. What if you
Okay.
swap the Luminite and the Vision camps over? Then you can see the Vision camp on the other side.
There's not enough threat to the Luminite camp then. I like the fact that that Luminite camps are very vulnerable. If they're vulnerable, they're hard to defend, and if they're hard to like things that are really valuable to a player should be hard to defend, because then that makes
I
it
feel
easier
so
to
bad
attack
for
into.
people. I
The
feel so
over-
bad for
the-
people who are like, I want an Infernal v Celestial high level cast analysis, and we're just over here like, anyways, this map, like, you just got to get rid of it. Actually,
Yeah.
like, just start over.
mean, I was going to say that like the Luminite would be right next to the double Therium, so I think actually it would be quite competitive, especially once people try to take that base.
But it's on a
Well,
high
I
ground.
think it'll
As
be-
Infernal of taking the double Luminite, like, is it not correct to just first take the normal natural that gives you Therium? Do you not need the Therium that quickly in IVC?
I'm of the opinion that Infernals aren't as Therium starved as people make them out to be. They were very Therium starved last patch, but this patch has really fixed a lot of that problem. It feels like a very I find myself wanting more Luminite more often than needing more Therium lately.
Sure.
It's
The
not
reason
so
I
they're
bring
much
saying
this
that
up
the
is that there's not like, where is your
Ethereum
easy third
are-
Therium? Where's your easy third Therium if you're Infernal on this map? You know, that's the reason I bring it up, is wouldn't you want the Therium earlier so you can stockpile, because it's going to be hard to get the third one.
What actually is that micro from high? What the heck? Anyway, this is actually a very greedy build. He's getting so many bases before he even has any units. Actually, he didn't take that base. The heck?
Yeah.
This is not a very greedy build from high. This is actually what I'm doing, for the most part.
Proximity to use
Well, like-
build determines how greedy it is. Got it.
Yeah.
uh,
Okay, here's another thing that I wanted to ask the crowd at large here. So, yeah, here we go. A Celestial can jump in, or they can have Argents if, you know, they want to waste their Luminite and build Argents. And the Argents can walk in. The Brute is the only tier 1 unit that can't walk through this light forestation to take the health camp. I don't like that. I think that they should either remove this or like thin out the trees or make a little alleyway so brutes can fit in. Yeah, the Fiend can fit in there, but they die so quickly. Like, I opened with brutes to start creeping around the map as Infernal, basically every game, except for on this map because I know I have to have gaunts to fit through that grass.
By the way, Frank, I just know
I
for a
think they're gonna
fact
fix
you're
that
an
thing.
Infernal player. I know you're for a fact you're an Infernal player when you were like, except for Argents, if they want to waste their money making Argents.
Yeah.
Okay. That's nice. Let
I
me
mean,
know
it's-
how that goes for you.
It's not a good unit. It's slow. It's got a short range. It runs out of energy. Like, it can hit air, but there's not that much air that's like there's not that much air that has heavy armor, so it's not going to be doing any bonus damage.
It's
And
a
then
trash unit.
yeah.
The only reason why it could ever be any good is because Celestial economies can be quite strong. Especially when it comes to Luminite economy can scale very quickly, so and you know, Argents of Luminite, so that's the only reason why they're good. Their stats are still trash. Which is why I rush like against Vanguard, I rush tier 3 and then get the upgrades so then I can actually have my Argents do something.
I think there's room. I think there's room for the Argents to be good if they dropped something, or if there was like some kind of a not aura, but something on the ground that was useful for Celestials as after they died. So like, let's say an Argent dies and it drops a little purple
healing
energy ball. No, not heal. Like maybe it recharges other
Healing.
Argents that are around it.
We want healing. We
I
want
know you
active
want
healing. We
Yeah.
don't have active healing. Please, please. Just give us like a nano swarm. When it like dies, it'll create a nano swarm for another unit that picks it up.
That would be interesting.
Pure mechanical. Yeah.
Get him, Fellhogs. I like that the projectiles after the teleport still land.
Talking about like Stormgate 2030, you know, like in Melee and Super Smash Bros. Melee, they talk about 2099 or 20XX, like the future where everything is perfected. Do you think Vector Teleport is gonna be in Stormgate 20XX?
Without a doubt. Yeah,
Like both teleports?
Yeah.
I think so.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
It's got too much potential for showing off really cool. I think the Vector was purpose built for parting with his insane blinker, his insane stalker blink micro. People want those cool moments of like, oh my god, I can't believe he's microing his way out of a terrible situation. I think the ability for recall, now that it doesn't like heal back to full, now that it doesn't do any healing actually, is really good, and there's chances for cool micro, but I think the rest of the roster of units in the game isn't there yet to show us those cool micro moments. That, and there needs to be some kind of visual effect for when they recall. Having them just wink out of existence is not it.
The speed game movement has been pretty good. The other game, I think, with high was an expert. The big game has been fairly decent. Yeah, I'm liking these positionings where he's blinking in, blinking out, really finding some damage. What's his? How many archangels does he have? And what on earth is that line that I'm just seeing on the minimap that's going toward the health camp? Okay, there was a line for a while. If you move up slightly, yeah, there it is. Okay, there we go. It's for the archangel. It's the archangel runway.
Since he's watching, by the way, shoutouts to Arail for forcibly convincing people that Archangels are a real unit versus Infernal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people didn't believe him for a long time. Ooh, double Shroudstone, though, is going to have a bit of a rebuttal. Meteor Smash gets, what,
I feel
3,
like
4?
I feel like Party came up with that first.
With what?
We'll say popularized. Then.
Archangel versus
Versus Infernal?
Infernal. I was doing this because I was doing this before like Ariel was even like winning tournaments because Party was doing it,
Sure.
and I always tried to play
I feel
macro
like
games.
Harding was doing it from really early on.
Yeah.
Versus Vanguard as well.
He
It's
has-
just all the stats line up for it making sense. Like it's an air unit, it can transition from ground to air, it has an AoE on low air it lands. One of the best reasons to use Atlas, if you think laterally, is one of the best reasons to do it is when you get the upgrade. It just hits the place where there would be workers and then it damages them over time for doing what they want to do because the way that mining works in this game. So makes sense that the Archangel is really good at it.
Run! All
Whoa,
respect to
oh, Vector's around here, too.
Oh, it's the pincer.
Okay.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, he's a Gen 1 bug type Pokemon. He just hit him with a big ass pincer.
Yeah. You
Oh, and
thought
all
you were
these-
going to catch me, but it was me, Theo. Oh, sorry. Archangel, Vector.
Are we gonna see another Meteor Smash? Yeah, I think there's simply not enough Uluwatu on the map at this point. The Infernal player has 90 supply to highs 253.
He's getting wiped out.
Yeah,
That
that
makes sense too, because vectors are all about speed and direction, and it looks like the Infernal player is moving at maximum speed to the out of this game direction.
Nice. Okay, that one I appreciate. That one is pretty good.
We got some linear algebra for you on these casts, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh no, I can't select it. But you heard I forget which stream it was that said that everything about the Vector is a math joke. Their weapon is the Cartesian Cannonade. They have a Delta Jump. Yeah, everything about the Vector is a math pun.
Wait. The recall needs to be changed. Unless recall's action. I haven't heard recall being
No,
math.
oh no, you're right. You're right. The recall's not a math pun. It does need to
Dang
change.
it.
Just call it proof.
Unbelievable. The quantum physics, they should call it.
The
No, just call it a
QED?
proof, because
Just
when you
tell me about
when you demonstrate something's real in math, right? It's done in a proof, so it can just be like, you know, problem statement is what it does when it warps in, and then proof is the name of the ability when it warps back out, because it's a one-to-one relationship.
Problem statement is something that sounds like it would be a cool named weapon. Like I want a sword
like a
to
Destiny-
be named the
sounds like-
problem statement.
Yes. Like if Destiny 3 ever came out, the problem statement would definitely be like the legendary weapon. that you get
100%.
for one of your
Yeah.
classes.
I think the coolest Destiny weapon name that I ever saw was the Devil You Know, and then the matching pistol was the Devil You Don't. I thought that was really. I was like, oh, they thought this through, or the
Is that
rifle
also
that
a
was the
Diablo
icebreaker.
4? Is that also a Diablo 4 Path of Exile 2 joke, or is that just me?
I have no idea. We were on an Uluwatu. That was Isle of Dread. Where's game 2 for game 2 High versus
Gone.
Uluwatu? There we go.
Reduced atom.
Aw, won't be a long one. Eva, are you gonna hop into the couch cast? You gonna hop on the couch and tell us about Stormgate? I actually really I prefer it. I would say instead of because remember the Pylon show, it was people that are like well known in the community. They know a lot about StarCraft and they can talk about, it's like, well, you know, this interaction or whatever. I want to get someone who doesn't play on the ladder all that much to talk about the game and get their first impressions, because we as people that are like, everyone that's in this chat right now is to some degree invested in Stormgate. Not the money sense of invested, but like we all want to watch it. We're gonna watch the story.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yes.
I don't know if you invested or not, but like we're all pretty committed to watching the story arc happen. I'm interested to see what people's first impressions are that have never watched it and are like watching us talk about it.
Maybe, you know, Evereste is actually an artist, so maybe their first impression is Monet.
Hmm.
Now, listen, Listen, there's gonna be one person who's gonna get that joke, but it's a fucking banger. I guarantee it. There we go. Thank
There
you,
it is.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and here's the mini micro game that, you know, is the quote unquote tax at the start of the CVI is the here comes the Hexen that can do presumably damage to prisms, and then the morph core pops out to do presumably damage to the Hexen, but like there's not. So Tasteless said this once. Thank you so much. Tasteless said this once that
That would be something that Tasteless said once, but
Tasteless said once that there's you only get the feeling of suspense, or you only like capture an audience's attention when the action could be over at any minute. So not having anything that can really threaten the game ending from the Hexen and morph core interaction is what makes it feel boring. There's no stress that it might. Well, as I say that, here's 4 Gaunts and a Hexen that are doing their damnedest to end the game early. And here's the Argent, the best unit in the game!
He's not even attacking the prisoners. What is this?
Yep, there's also enough
It's such
distance
an
between
expensive
the
target.
there's enough distance between the creation chamber, the power node, the array, and the other targets that actually just he's just gonna let it fall, right?
And it winks out of existence.
What do we call a creation? Yeah, what do we call a creation chamber that has actually disappeared? We call that an annihilation chamber.
An annihilation
Fuck it,
chamber sounds like a sick name for a unit, actually.
Yeah, can we get the devs who are watching this? Can we get the annihilation chamber, please?
If you think devs watch this stream, I've got bad news.
It's the celestial mothership or something. Like not the archship, like an actual unit.
Yeah.
It'll fly over an army, it'll contain them all, and then it'll put them in a chamber and annihilate them.
Yeah, if this game was any more well done, it would be served in a steakhouse, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, red power too.
This game is looking actually really bad for Fire. Is he gonna lose? Fire's got Vector's now.
I mean, what is he going to come back with? He's on red power. He can't build anything.
Vector's.
All right. There's
That
a
one
vector.
all this-
The Argent's here. The day is saved.
He hasn't lost the main base, has he? Has he?
Nope.
No.
It's still up.
Nah, he's fine. He's fine. He's fine. This is on one base, so he just lifts off this natural, goes to his main.
Will the Gaunts get it? I think they do.
Not at the vector.
Oh!
Okay, that is actually So the game's like fairly even. I'd say no, Uluwatu's definitely ahead because he can get the camps. But I think I is the better player, so he could probably just come back. I think, unless I don't know Uluwatu enough.
By the way,
Either
the
way.
visual effect, this smoky laser that comes out of the Shroud Stone, 10 out of 10 sick.
I love the little kind of like shield.
Yeah.
That kind of like it looks like there's like shield around it, and then it's like shooting from the outside of the shield rather than. Yeah, I definitely love that. He's gonna get a gaunt. This is the interaction that Artie wanted. You know, the contesting the camps, the punishing for camps.
Yeah.
This is. Yeah.
And Shroud
Yeah,
Stone.
the problem is that I think the only way this goes badly is if Wipeout like drastically messes up the micro, or it could go like that. There's a Viper
Okay,
dead.
sorry.
Yep.
Ooh, what about unsurging one
I'd
of
say
these
that.
power banks though, and surging this? It does. I mean, I know it doesn't matter, but surging the Ascension Matrix is good move.
You might say that High was a prism of his own mind in that game. He just consistently didn't make the decisions necessary to, keep the power.
Yeah, I don't know.
Game
I don't know.
3.
I don't know. He was doing such a greedy build there. Like he's okay.
Yes.
Is it not game
I
3?
do take my statement like last game about his build actually not being greedy, because it was greedy and it is greedy. I just double checked its build this game. It is certainly greedy, Ario. He was jolly going like second base, no Ethereum, and then into vectors. I don't know.
All right, I'm trying to find like look at the game length for a lot of these. 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes. We already watched this one. Yeah. All right, let's watch. Actually, no. If Oriole's in chat, let's do some of these.
What about me?
Where's? Wait, let's go
I'm
back.
just kidding.
Where are you?
His
Oh,
name
you.
is you. It's alphabetized. It's right there. Like, what do you mean? Where is
Right
it?
there. We could do. Have you seen me vs. Wriggle yet?
I think that was one of the very first games that I casted. It should be up on YouTube by now.
Okay. Yeah, because it was one of the very first games that was. No, it was
one of
the
the
very
first
first
ones
game
that
that was
was
played. It was the
Yeah.
first game of the tournament. Yeah.
I just got this insane mental image that you had never played Stormgate. You walk in, your first game is against Riddle. You just absolutely trash compact him. Like you just take it, and you're like, yeah, man, this Stormgate game is pretty good, actually.
I like it.
Oh no, a CVC. Oh my. All right, we are gonna do one
Listen,
of these.
We're on stream, so I won't tell you what I call CVC, right?
Thank
that
you.
would be inappropriate.
That would be
But
inappropriate.
can
Thank you for
but
showing
you can
restraint.
imagine it. Yeah.
Here we go. You know what? Let's even go a little bit crazier than that. Whoa! I love watching the arc ship get microed around. Like it's not, literally accomplishes nothing.
The actual jiggle peeking flying building. I love that. Careful, guys. It's got peeker's advantage.
Don't. Oh no.
Listen, that's banging
no.
for anyone who knows Counter Strike. That's pretty good.
All right. Now we've got. Now we're doing stuff. Wait, did it?
Wait.
Why is it still
Well,
building?
I can already tell you, by the way, Arail, even with all of the nameplates off, I could tell immediately this is you. Because there's no one who is pushing for Seraphim to actually be an S tier unit quite like Arail.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And
Ariel is watching the stream on his stream. I just realized that he's been streaming the whole time.
Oh, he's double dipping. Oh, his content game is unmatched, by the way. Arail, what you
Yeah.
Also
have
true.
to do, Arail, you have to take your reaction to what we're saying and then pause it and talk about it in a video.
Oh yeah. No,
right?
you got to send it to us.
That's the content meta. Yeah.
No,
You
he's
have
got to send it
say-
to us, and then we got to talk about it first, and then he can talk about us talking about it.
Yes, he's got it.
Yeah.
Are
I mean,
we-
if I could talk for 2 hours about a 6-minute video on Stormgate, then Will could definitely content react to himself. Like,
Oh
that's
man.
not a joke. That actually happened.
I know it did. That's why I'm laughing.
Oh, yeah.
That's in the past tense. That's a real thing that happened.
The we're like lining up for another community meme where it's like we just react to each other's reaction of this one game that's gonna be over in like I don't know 10 minutes. And it's gonna end up being like 40 hours worth of content of like, well, that was patch 0.3, that was before all this happened, and I don't know about the maps back in the day. Like, we really could stretch this out if we wanted to, but I'm not that good at I don't have a lot of words. I feel like, which is a funny thing to say as a caster / comment creator, but I think Atano, you're in like another league, dude. I cannot. I wish that I could speak for 2 hours about a 6-minute video.
Wait,
That's like. Wait, what?
this is Celestial vs Celestial.
Yeah.
Yes. I told you what CVC stands for.
I've just been watching Seraphims clear the map. I didn't pay attention.
Okay,
to
so
the
it's
very start.
really, ladies and
actually
gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining Stormgate, the newest PvPvE extraction shooter, now with an RTS component. Can Arail clear all of the creep camps before he gets gang blasted by Senti's vectors, or will the vectors show their linear approach to be well worth the wait? Find out in the next exciting episode of Escape from Stormgate.
Find the Stormgate.
The-
Find the Stormgate.
The
Actually, since
RTS
it's called
extraction
Stopwatch, it should
shooter
just be- yeah, the
gotcha
RTS
collector.
There we go.
Yeah.
The RTS extraction shooter that marketing has
what?
always told us we wanted.
Oh, but they only shoot ground. Lift it off. Lift it off. Oh, the double.
The liftoff's way too slow. It doesn't work. It's trash.
Yeah, it was dead
You
anyway.
make it faster
Like-
again. Like, it doesn't need to be
by the way-
instant, but just like 2 seconds.
I have been crying about this for a while since I think we know how this is going to be going. Basically, I think Celestials has really cool mechanics, but they just have to get their stuff nerfed because you can do really cool things with all of their unique mechanics. And so you have a collection array that feels like it's trying to load a mobile home onto a 16-wheeler just to avoid getting sniped by Seraphim.
There we go. It lives.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It lives.
Yeah, Shala lives.
It actually
Congratulations.
I
Like, live.
you know what would be kind of fun for me, I think, is if you put an upgrade on each collection array that's like pretty expensive, but it cuts down the takeoff time. I think that's something that Celestial players would use, but they don't have to use. That
I'm a
might
big
come.
fan of
It's got to do
expensive
something else other than that, but yeah.
I'm a big fan of
Definitely.
expensive upgrades that compensate for their build time by being expensive. So it's like, okay, it's 200 Luminite, so you can lift your collection array in 2 seconds
Yeah.
instead of 25.7 or something.
Nah. Nah, never.
No, never.
I'm not saying it would be balanced. It absolutely wouldn't be, but that's a deeper problem.
This is
This
GG, though.
theory, yeah, this theory of
Space
mining
Star.
is a bit over. Yeah.
The Luminite mining is over. Ethereum mining is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
This game is over.
And Ariel is taking bases.
Ariel, I know he's a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan, so he's that's chunky. Yeah, I know he's a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan, so he's playing Sky Celestial, or as I prefer to call it, Sky Scourge Norleas, the Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's quite appropriate.
I
What do
will
we call
say-
Sky Celestial, by the way?
I know Day 9 went on about like there's no spiky
Just the
moments, but watching meteor smashes happen is so like, oh, it's such like a, I don't know how to describe that sensation where it's like nerd chills Artosis kind of a moment.
I will say it's just fitting that a guy who played with Seraphim has the ability to cast an ability called Meteor to end the game.
Yeah.
Presented without comment.
Oriole versus
Big
Senti.
Final Fantasy VII vibes.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
So here's the lowdown on Final Fantasy. Okay, 7 is the most hyped and thus the most overrated. 9 is not as good as 7, but no one says that it's the best thing since sliced bread. 12 is the most underrated one. 13 was just shit. Let's see. 1 is good, 2 is crap, 3 is some people's favorite, 5 is my personal favorite, 4 was played by exactly that many people. 6 is the one with the cool final boss where no one remembers anything else that happened, because all those people stopped playing Final Fantasy to go play Final Fantasy Tactics when it came out.
Ariel's
that it?
actually...
Oriole's a Vanguard?
I mean, his stream name right now is Van GG, so like it'd be pretty off meta for him to be the Van GG stream playing Celestial.
Well, it makes lots of sense, because he's going to be GG to Vans.
Oh, okay. What about motorbikes? Do you think he can be beaten by motorbikes?
Hold on. You guys gave me an idea, and I need to talk this one out. How
Go for
have
it.
we not made a meme of like the mystery machine, the literal Scooby-Doo van, but it says GG on the side, and it's got all the Vanguard iconography, so it can be the Van GG.
All right, gang,
That would be
let's
pretty
split it. Oh my god, so you just get a bunch of Lancers together, and the Fred Lancer with
Yes.
an ascot says, all right, guys, split up and look for imps.
Yes, and then each one of the crew is a Scooby-Doo member. You getting it?
Yeah. Well, it's like... They're not all Lancers. One of them's the Lancer. I think Scoob...
Oh.
Okay.
Scooby's obviously a
Scooby's a
scout.
This thing.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo's the dog.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo's a dog still. We'll say... I don't know the names, dang it.
Daphne, Velma.
the nerdy one, Daphne, the like kind of regular hot
The
one.
nerdy one is a medic.
Okay.
Okay.
He's a med tech. Velma's a med tech. Got it.
The guy with the blonde one who's like tall and stuff, he's a EXO.
Yeah, Shaggy. Shaggy's an
Yeah.
EXO. Okay, in
And then-
Vietnam, hit him real hard. All right.
Oh.
No, not Shaggy.
No, he's talking about Fred.
Oh, Fred is
Fred,
the one with
Fred.
the ascot. He's the
Fred
blonde,
is the
head-tall
EXO.
looking guy.
Shaggy's
Oh, okay.
the Lancer.
Shaggy's the Lancer,
Um,
the skinny stoner.
Yeah, I can totally imagine a socially awkward Lancer who's just kind of, just like holding on to his like Lancer stick like a teddy bear or something.
Okay.
This is like it gives him comfort. Um,
Okay. Nice.
and then
You know what's perfect about this is the first case of the first episode of Scooby Doo. The monster they were looking for was called the Creeper.
Ooh.
It's
man.
perfect. It's perfect. All right, gang, let's split up and look for MMR. I love that. We gotta make that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that would
And
actually
then-
be really good.
Who's-
So
who's the
I forget who I discussed this
old girl's a
with,
Graven?
but the Graven would be really good.
Yeah, because Graven's a girls.
The reason, in my mind, the reason that when the dog dies, it drops a human skeleton is because the scout is just someone in a fursuit. True or false?
I was eating, you asshole. I did not need furry fan fiction in my Stormgate, sir.
Am I wrong?
Right? I know you're a well, yeah,
Am
you
I
are.
wrong?
know you're a chicken, man. I know you're into that clucking weird stuff, but I'm not talking about it.
I'm not making a prescriptive statement one way or the other. I'm saying that would explain why the scout drops a human skeleton.
I love that. I'm not I'm not prescribing that it should be that way. I'm just suggesting that it is that.
I'm
All right.
I'm saying it might explain it. All right, fine. Maybe I'm wrong.
Frank Sriracha, the first ever furry fan fiction.
Maybe I'm wrong.
for
Explain
Stormgate.
the human skeleton that drops from the scout. Then, your turn.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Never played it.
They stuffed the bodies inside of an animatronic scout.
What's the movie?
Yeah, I
Look
never.
at two Shaggies. You realize we have to call these Shaggies now.
I didn't play the games. Didn't watch the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. Oh my
Dang
god,
it.
it's the bite of
The
76.
Shaggies are gonna get therapy. Being sent to
Oh my
Ireland
god,
is-
so if we're continuing in this meme, then the Argent is obviously the 10,000 volt ghost because it's really terrifying when it has energy and can be captured by anyone when it doesn't.
I have no
don't
words
know.
for like. I've never met someone that knows the Scooby-Doo villains. That is like
Yeah.
you know your
That's
lore,
because
man.
That's because you watched dog shit shows when you were younger, which is why you care so much about how the dog is a human.
No, I watched Scooby-Doo when I was a kid. I just like I do not remember a single villain from that show, except for the ones that were in like the intro sequence. I don't remember their names,
So
but I
you
remember what they
remember
looked
like the Submariner guy, right?
Yeah,
Like, where he's got-
with the diving bells.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the guy
What?
who's got
This
a
is
power node on
wrong.
his head.
Oh no.
You actually did it. Made it more.
He made the
I
more.
think this is
Yeah, he made the more on command post.
Like for,
That's so
for
cartoon.
Vanguard, this actually doesn't really make sense. Anyway.
I
You know
have
what?
to
Yeah, no, this
say,
isn't good for Senti. No, Senti! It's because they're out of
You know
energy, so once they're out of energy, you have to leave. And then wait.
the worst
until you
part
get
of
back.
this is that if he doesn't end up killing a rail here, then this move isn't gonna seem sentient.
The reason that you
Yeah.
make a moron command post is so that you don't have to build a scrapyard, and then you get double the bob production and double command post into Rongo Bongo, and that's how you win.
I don't know, Frank. That sounds like copium to me.
Hey,
Trying
JXP
to
is
justify
like
your own incorrect action.
Listen, the last time I had copium that strong, Frank, I got arrested for distribution.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're not allowed to. No.
double command post into
This-
Rongo Bongo wouldn't work. Is that what you're telling me with a straight face right now?
When was this played?
I don't
Is
have to worry
Senti
about
trying to
whether or not
copy my style? If so, I would be honored if he was.
Whoa!
Oh, kill him. By the way, the fact
Oh.
that creep guard or whatever what is the guard ability that Seraphins have that just roll a d6 and they don't take damage?
Creepbane
Like
guard.
75%.
Creepbane guard reduces 75% of the damage. It's not an all or nothing thing. It's 75% of the damage doesn't get done.
What's the nonsensical one that just says like, "Lol, as you're flying, you don't have a chance to miss damage."
It's the dash.
like,
I
oh, you're-
think.
Yeah.
Is it their
yeah.
dash? Yeah.
Why? I
don't
just
know.
demand to know.
I think maybe the idea is that it rewards micro potential. Like you could dash around with it if you really wanted to, but it doesn't make sense against Exos because their projectiles hit instantly.
I mean, I also don't want Return to Hangar to exist, but at this point, I just understand that I don't have the same brain space as the team, so
Yeah.
it's all good. It's like Boomerang; it's all coming back to me. Let's talk about something else.
No, I agree. I agree that Return to Hangar is not my favorite thing. I know a lot of people, at least a lot of people that I watch play Vanguard Air, forget about it. But that
It's also rude. Like, why would I return to hang her? I don't even know her. You know?
oh my god,
Isn't that
Tano.
something that you would wait
All
until
right,
like?
all right. Let's keep it as
Anyway,
uncursed as
where
possible.
actually is this replay? I can't tell. Where is?
It's on my computer. No, it's in the.
I'm looking in the Google Drive and I just like can't see it.
Oh no, Oriole. I think Oriole might have DM'd this one to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so is this recent? I'm just like, was this played recently? Because like, if this was, you know,
In the past
after
day, I imagine.
Seraphim, a
series
couple,
issue,
Seraphim,
then,
a couple of Kree and a couple thousand Bolt ghosts are gonna show up here and attack all of these mobs, and you know they're gonna go run away like a little band on the run. It's gonna be a quick draw hustle. It's gonna be hustling to try and poke some of those not 20 armor while they're rolling out Kree. And this is a bit of an overtaxing situation.
Oh no,
We'll
was the
make
enemy?
it- we get focused. No, he just loses all the Seraphim. He loses all the Seraphim. No, it's really the...
nano swarm in the middle there of the eye.
Yep,
Ay,
there's
ay,
gonna be
ay. Okay, this is
gonna be
my
Kree
style.
explosions, but they're not gonna do anything. Nope, this is not your style because you like styling
Right.
on people when you win and more senti.
Exactly.
Not
He doesn't have-
copying the.
He doesn't have tier
No.
3, and he barely has a third base.
Oh, if I were
I would
Senti, I
have
would definitely have more
5
than
bases
3
now.
tiers right now. I'd have like 4 tiers. I'd be really upset with how the game is going for me.
The
Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
no, for sure.
Frank, are you okay? We count on you for honesty. It's in your name, but I'm not hearing anything from you. There's a bunch of Kree rolling up over here.
There we go. That's what we
needed.
needed.
Gonna be a med tech system shock that's gonna blow all of them away, and actually all the medics, they don't even have to get the X's away. They're actually faster than the Kree. They're gonna start chasing them down. The Kree thought they were Sonic the Hedgehog, but unfortunately, this is Sonic 3, and the Knuckles the Echidna is top tier.
You like, so in
you
COVID
okay,
times,
Frank?
in COVID times, my COVID hobby, my weird COVID hobby that I picked up was blacksmithing. I need to make you a knife called the Deepest Cut because you pull out like, would I ever know to reference Sonic 3 in this situation? No, never. Like that was a deep cut reference, man. I love how these exos are getting microed away from the Kree explosions too. That's honestly like
Yes.
pretty cool.
You realize if you get me a knife called the Deepest Cut, it is by definition a legendary item. Because there's only one.
Hey man, if I ever buy another setup, I might do it. Maybe when I'm back in the States. But GG's is called Oriole 2-0s.
All you need to do, like, he's got the tech and everything for it. He just needs to press the button to upgrade the thing, and then get the tier 3 upgrades.
Yeah. All right, we're
Before
gonna
then, they just kind
do.
of suck.
Who's that one guy that wanted his replay cast? You, I guess.
Sure.
I see what he was going for.
Oh man. Oh no, the Kree though. The Kree have been like, I don't want to say memed on, but the fact that they can get the Droideka upgrade. They have 4 arms, kind of like a Machamp, but they weren't glowing when they first came out, so it looked like ramen noodles. They were the ramen noodle Machamp. That's what I call them. But I really like their design now. I think now that there's more visual effects on them, they look a lot cooler. That and the mining beam. The mining beam is one of the cooler visual effects in the game, I think. Oh wait, I should probably. There we go.
You should probably change the scene,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Clucker.
There we go.
Then again, I guess you're used to getting roosted for that.
I am, but it's usually Delaris, and I don't know where he's at. He must be on vacation today. He's usually on point with the screaming at me for not having it up.
The one downside to me being in the chat is that we don't get to listen to the excellent stylings of Delores.
Yeah. Now you
I'll
two,
disappear tomorrow. It's fine. He can come back.
you two could definitely have your own podcast about Stormgate, and I think you would get a lot of.
The hate views would be uncountable. Delores would be over there being like a reasonable person. Do you know what a bokeh and sukume routine is?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna need that deep cut knife before I explain anymore. But bokeh and sukume is the idiot and the straight man is the name of a Japanese style comedy routine in which one person acts wild and insane and a bit out there, and it is exacerbated by the fact that the other person is more straight-laced and is taking everything on the chin as if this was completely normal but a bit insufferable, right? And I think Delores and I have that, right?
Yeah. No, I'd agree.
Delores could be the straight man, and I could just be like antic guy.
So
If I was ever a supervillain, that would be my name, Antics guy.
I guess
Like
it doesn't
also
matter
very
as much
cool.
for no. I guess it does matter because the proximity for Sorry, not to derail.
No, go
your
on.
thing.
I was just doing that to
Yeah.
fill time as we get to the interesting part of the game. Go for it.
The since proximity to the fairy berries does matter for celestials, I haven't gotten this idea out of my head where people can like build around the Therium patch to kind of like force the spawns to be faster to be closer to the drop off point. Is there ever and maybe it's not so much important for the first power bank, but like later on when you're moving to other Therium locations, do you try to like build around the Therium such that the new fairy berries spawn closer to the purifier so that the prisms don't have to make as long of a trip, or does it just not matter?
Oh, that's what you're meaning. No.
So I like on Lost Hope, I'll build my first conclave or my first production structure behind the Therium over here, so that way the Therium can't spawn on top of the Iron Vault or the conclave or whatever. So it'll tend to spawn closer to the shrine, or like I'll put a meat farm there and the conclave there, so that way it's like forced to. They're like herded towards the drop off point.
Yeah. No, we don't.
But I think that's me
Yeah,
over
we're generally
optimizing
more
something.
inefficient. Like, we want to try to mine from like a long distance without prisms and steal our opponent's Therium or something. Like, I don't know. Like put Therium.
Holy shit, Aurel
Purifies.
has raided 13 people. Thank you, Aurel. You a real one.
You're a real one. Hey, there we
He
go.
really isn't
Thank
a
you so
real
much
one.
for the raid, buddy.
Get it? He's a real one?
Walking,
Come on.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
walking
yeah.
through the Stormgate to be.
Well, you know, in 2025, we don't say goated anymore. We say gated. So it's totally
Gated.
fine. Yep. He's a rail one. He's gated. You know?
Hello, yes.
Hey, there he is. Speak of the devil, and the devil appears.
Yeah, I
Fine.
was watching your stream, reacting to it, what he was saying on the stream, like you said.
You
Yes.
feel sad? Sad?
No,
Oh.
no, I'm not sad. Like I said, my English is just
Yeah,
bad. I mean pronunciation. Oh,
Ah, he tried to get me, but he didn't. Get wrecked. You got busted.
That is so unreasonable. By the way, anyone who thinks this is new or hasn't experienced like working with anyone who is really mentally competitive, to say nothing of level, just the mentality, everyone I know is like this. I play ITG and Magic the Gathering, and the most nice, kind, upstanding, wonderfully mannered people, as soon as they beat someone, they're like, and anyways, that guy fucking sucked. I demolished him. Like, and everyone is like that. They just like
noobs.
have borderline, like, imagine if you were instrumenting Sisyphus's punishment or Tartarus's punishment, and you're like, anyways, that peasant can't drink or eat food anymore.
Suck it,
it's
nerd.
kinda
Yeah.
right. But when I beat someone, I saying that stuff in my head, like R word, and many
Yes.
different.
Mm.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, listen, maybe you can say this is Co.
Jay's
Maybe
in
you
the
can say
chat.
this is Co.
Jay has
because I
entered
say
the
same thing.
Jay has entered the VC. This is truly one of the
He's been here for a
Stormgate
while.
casts of all time.
Well, I'm glad there's going to be some real casting instead of these god-awful puns this fucking It-a-No circus guide has been doing.
Okay.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate
Wait, no,
that.
wait, no, stop, wait.
Did you see that? He just actually slammed it like, yep, he's a fucking bitch.
Right in the
Alright,
teeth.
Okay, thanks, Jay. I appreciate it.
There is
Wait a minute.
a lot of money floating. Where we?
Yes.
I guess
What are you
we
talking about?
forget Arc ship. Or oh no. Never mind.
Don't be ridiculous. I would never do such a thing.
No, of course not.
Now
of
would
course
be
not.
the time for it, Jay. If you wanna hit us with that. There we go. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Oh my god, what is this stream?
No.
No.
By the
I
way,
yeah, played this.
By the
I
way,
hate
Frank.
when
Like,
yeah.
Oh wait, the
I
Search
hate
Ascension
when
Matrix
Infernal-
could actually be really good.
I hate when Infernal losing like 10 guns to laser because they can't go back for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Febuster, but just move back. Softwatch ends. He activates another Softwatch, that's his power bank. Move back, take his control camp, the speed camp. I mean, you can push with the help on it. And it's kinda GG at this point because they're not gonna be Archangels. And
Yeah, but now
Sabers
there's 8.
suck.
But now there's 8 vectors and 2 sabers with another soft watch
Yeah.
that's available, and like the Hellborn
I'm
might
just
be able
gonna
to punch
say-
through, but it'll take a while.
it's not
10
really
guns gonna beat 8 vectors.
I think
smart. Yeah.
oh no, but the Softwatch charges. I was gonna say, like, Yu's got the money. He could just throw down all kinds of power banks and spam out Softwatch, but I keep forgetting there's charges for that.
He is too.
Yeah.
I think Archangels are on the way.
Ah, but there's the
Aye.
GG. Ay,
Yeah, GG.
Filibuster goes
No.
up
The
1-0.
good timing from Filibuster. I mean, we didn't spend money as fast as possible. If we did spend it somehow, I think you would hold that.
Yeah.
I mean, kinda faster Archangel, I don't know.
I feel like
extension.
if we had all the people in this chat and they were drunk and we were to cast Stormgate, we'd have the best conversations ever. But like the IRC chats of the days of old, we would never be allowed to release that video content.
No.
I have a feeling it would be
No.
the most illegal content, but it would be a fucking awesome time, I'm telling you right now.
Actually,
you
so
don't want to hear me as when I'm drunk and become really.
you get a little zesty with your language. Get some zesty
Nah.
takes.
Oh, I get angry, so not all the time, but like
let's
angry.
say that I'm like my white country, and you don't want to hear me. when I
Ah, I gotcha.
That would be fun. We just wouldn't.
I
we just
don't
wouldn't
know what he's
record it.
saying, but
Jay,
We just wouldn't
Ah,
record it. It would be fine.
Jay, I need your take on something. So we saw Oriole playing Vanguard two
Okay.
maps ago, and he built a moron command post right next to his main command post. Now, is that good or is it bad if you want to do a Rongo Bongo build? Because then you're building Bobs at twice the rate you would normally build them.
it's just that like
It costs a lot of money.
You can't go only Bobs.
Only Bobs
You gotta
is
mix it up.
a website that we're not going to discuss today.
I tested with Mixodat, so this build you can play
Yeah, Amara and
versus
Blockade.
everything, but you lose versus 1-1 from Infernal.
Mm.
But no one open 1-1 versus Vanguard. There's no reason to. But
Well,
you
now there
auto
is.
die. I mean auto die. There is really hard to hold that, but versus everything else is easy. Versus Celestial, this build is actually the best opening versus Cell in my opinion, because you just play reactionary to what he's doing.
Mm.
Other builds force you to do some stuff like going Hedgehog versus Vector that you don't want to, for example.
Yeah, Hedgehog
Like,
versus
you have
Vector
a lot of
seems.
You have
space that you
you're
can
saying a rail
choose.
that you have
Just
you're
bad.
seeing a rail that you have agency, like they're forced to deal with it, as opposed to you doing something because you have to deal with what they could do.
Yeah. Like they open Seraphins from this opening and can go 4 starports, hangar base,
Mm.
mass hornet, and I gonna have more hornets than he has vectors. And I just gonna kill him with the hornet. And versus Inferno, this is quite decent. Like there is really powerful timing attack. At 6 minutes, you have a double amount of exo than in 2 base timing.
Nice.
Oh, by the way, about 3 minutes mark, you have 10 bobs more than compared to standard build.
Nice.
Mm.
So you have twice better economy because you're spamming bobs.
That's
The,
interesting.
Mm.
the downside of that, you're skipping all camps.
Low
and not the
Stilo.
creep camps.
Yeah.
But I hate creep camps, and I said many times they should be removed from the early game. No, they killing player interaction.
I don't want to remove creep camps, but I still want to have that really intense early game player interaction. I just want I want a scanner to be the celestial starting unit, and I want the dog to be a more impactful loss, so that the Vanguard has more risk if they lose the dog in the early game. Because if the Hexen is lost in the early game, it's such a struggle because you can't snowball with fiends.
Personally, want all 3 units scout, Hexen, and scan be removed, so players has make a choice. For example, Vanguard has to build a Rax to get a scout to scout. Infernal build Iron Vault to get a Brute, to split a Brute to get a scout. Instead of players has free scouting unit at the start of the game.
But then
We have
isn't
scout
that like the
that
most
broken shrines.
boring first 2 minutes of the game though? Like what's the build time on an Iron Vault? It's like 90 seconds, 2 minutes?
Yes and no, because
it's
you're
the-
gonna see
go
some
on.
builds like, for example, Nexus First, you see in the pro games of Brood War. This is greedy opening that can get punished. Same other build orders, like no one's gonna use Worker for Scout. Like there is no reason to, because the workers in Stormgate are slow.
Yeah.
It's better to build a scout to scout. And it opens more build order variety timings attacks, because there is no timing attacks from 2 bases, for example, because there is free scout that see everything. And you can do perfect reaction to everything that your opponent is doing. That means there is no special tactics, no cheese, literally no cheese. Everyone play
Also-
every single build. Go Itano, please.
I've also heard this kind of argument before of, well, if you do that, if you do insert thing, the first couple of minutes of the game will be boring. And I actually think that that's a fundamental understanding of what the game is supposed to be, because what being boring for the first little bit does is, to me, it's a huge part of a game that its tempo and cadence feel good. So having no units to control, 1 unit to control, 6 units to control, having 1 base, then 2 base, then 3 base, right? Even if, like, at a pro level in StarCraft 2, right? Let's say at like a super
I think
high
that's
level,
fun.
we
I think that's
somehow
fun in
get to a
campaign,
place-
not in 1v1.
Okay. But yeah, but you don't want, what I'm saying is, if there is a stress and challenge to
I heard
starting the
that
game with too much
argument.
action. Like, if you start the game with too much action, it actually is stressful, even for people who don't get ladder anxiety, because it's like, okay, immediately I have to go and I have to, like, here's a counter example, right? It's a bit absurd, but you just realize, Aurel is right. Somehow he's got the nail on the coffin. There's no chance of dying to 2 bases. Why don't we just start all players with 2 bases and a certain number of workers that we deem to be fair and a certain number of starting army units? Well, one is the fantasy of the RTS, is that I'm building all of this. I start with very little and then I make more. And then that's one of the big reasons people are playing the game. And then the second challenge is, even if that were fair or balanced, there's no on-ramping time, right? There's no game pace. The pace of the game goes completely to shit if you start too quickly, right? It's actually
Yeah.
okay to give players something to ramp into.
I think players will get bored.
That,
I think players will get bored of watching the building animations and having nothing to do. Having nothing
it kind
at
of
risk.
like this, but remember, for my personal experience, when you have to micro with the dog from 000 minute of the game, you have to block Hexen, you have to micro Hexen, kill flowers from him, micro body block Shrine, for example. Same with Hexen, you has to go around, kite Scout, you have protecting effigy from Scout killing it. There is a lot of stress in the early game. After 4 hours of playing Vanguard, I'm just tired because there is so much stuff to do, and from the start of the game, constantly on the high level of focus, let's say. And if you are too long for high level focus, I'm getting tired much more. And after 5 hours of playing, my brain is tired because I was constantly in the stress because I have to micro my scout, because if I lose the scout, I'm losing the game. If you lose the Hexen, you lose the game.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
how
even fine
impactful
with
tier
wait.
1 units are.
I'm even
Feelings,
fine
yeah.
with wait 20 or 30 seconds and then get one for free.
That
Because
yeah, I
then
was just
there's
about
a
to suggest
cadence,
that.
Like,
I was just about to say like that would be
I
cool.
think that's a bit I think that's a bit clunky, but that's closer to my idea of we start with very little, and there's very little we have to do, and then we get an extra unit. Now we have some more things to do. Now we're getting to a second base. And
Ah!
that's a big.
Mm.
That's a chunky hit.
Bonk. Bonk.
No reaction because he is focused on the fight with the vectors.
Yes, yes.
I've got an opinion on that.
Go for it,
Go on.
Jay.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just have an opinion. That's it.
What
But
is
so-
what is
so
the
do rest
opinion,
of us.
Jay?
Yeah, I want to hear your opinion.
Don't big news your way out of this one.
Okay,
No,
Jay.
no, no. What's your
Say
opinion
your
on it?
opinion
Yeah.
about 3 units at start of the day.
Oh
What do you
God,
think about
I just said it to meme. I actually don't have an opinion.
You mean no, 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 no,
So
no. That's
create
not what you
one.
said. You have an opinion, Jay. We need it.
Bro, you can do it. Go ahead.
I don't-
What do you think
I'm
about
not
There are
even
no
paying
wrong
attention.
answers.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the free, like whether or not free units in the beginning of the game feel good for pacing.
Hexen Scout?
Yeah, like the
Scout.
Hexen,
Yes.
the Scout, and what should be the Scanner.
Neutral.
But is it more stressful to have that interaction early game where like the dog has to
For
block the
newer
Hexen,
players,
the
yes.
Hexen has to like get the cabbage? Is it
Oh yeah, let's not forget about new
For
player
newer
that
players.
has to get losing imp, losing imp to the scout because your opponent has this APN to do that.
Yes. I can't tell you how many
That's more
people
like a-
I'm pretty sure I made lead the game during
That's
EA
just-
week for that reason.
Wait,
They should
Also,
be too
like,
impactful, at least not initially. They could scale a bit better later on.
this Archangel has avatar. Wait,
I would love to see around this Arc Fortress. That would be thank you.
Okay, there's
nice.
the
big
avatar.
slam. Slam, no, nothing there. Nice.
also I
I'm
think the
happy
rest
either
of the
way.
game. I think the rest of the game doesn't really align itself in the example of, well, it's kind of like the Scout Cavalry in Age of Empires 2. I think there's enough differences in the map, right, in the maps and in the gameplay that you could say that's not quite the case. And a big cleanup and a 100+ supply lead over here for you. Not you at home. You aren't playing the game, but you, who's in the call right now, right, with a capital Y, you know. There's the Royal We, and then there's the Royal You. And if you've never heard of the Royal You, they're in the chat with us right now. They're also 100 supply up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a really good job with harassing with Archangels and forcing Febuster to this kind of all in him. And Febuster didn't deal enough damage and he is really behind the NES. When you get 300 supply of Archangels, he gonna go across the map and kill him.
Okay.
Yeah, there's only one
Or
thing for
probably
us to
now.
do right now. That is to press enter, press G twice, press enter again. And then that's about the only thing you can do right
Got
here.
a question. Is your GG gonna stand for good game or get good? Because, you know, it's always an open question.
That is something that would be on the side of the GG van.
I see.
It wouldn't
first
be
time
good
we
game.
On
it would
one
be
side,
get
good
good.
game. On the other side, get good.
Yes. Yes.
It's first time when I see miasma by Infernal versus Celestial, because you can purify it, so
Yeah.
and also you can purify
That's right.
Hexen, so you can steal entire energy from them. That I do sometimes.
But Purify costs
I really
a
don't
lot
like
of
using
power.
top power abilities though. Because the energy regen is so slow, so you're just stuck with this infinite power debt.
Yeah.
Where you just have to constantly keep making banks. And the moment you lose your power banks, the moment there's any kind of base trade at all, you're just permanently in red.
Ah!
Never get that. So
Yeah, but
Nice
it's still
ping.
better than floating the
Okay,
money,
kills.
I guess.
Oh shit. Okay.
no, no, I
Fucking
mean the
hell.
power, not the money. Unless you mean you
Ow.
think it's better to spend on
Oh!
power banks. Because then you can lose the power banks and then you power debt.
Literally every imp is gonna go down from this base. Ay, ay, ay.
Keep in
But
mind,
you know,
So,
it's
gotta.
more about building power banks to respawn the camps. And when you respawn the camps, you get this value of power banks back. And when you have few level 5 camps, you get so many resources.
not worth. Like it's worth immediately, but it's not worth in the long run.
So, Frank, do you think losing all of his economy is going to be an
Actually, no, it's
impediment
already
to
maxed out.
Fleabuster winning the game?
It's a bold move, Cotton. We'll see how that strategy plays out for him.
Tell me you caught the impediment.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Fun fact, if a Buster had like 20 supply of Shadow Flyer, and you just miss-micro his Archangels, he could lose that. Because entire Archangel army will just die in 1 second. This is so
But he
annoying
doesn't.
with the Archangels.
Did you guys know there's a
Yeah.
feed inside of a morph core?
It's not.
Derail
I
just-
mean, that's not so bad. I think it's fine. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
you can.
just-
do like,
You know,
as
the
long as
people
you're
were
not forced to
saying,
play with 200 plus ping with lots of lag spikes and stuff, it's not so bad.
As long as you don't have the spot where the game pauses and then fast forwards, like, 20 seconds into the
yeah,
future.
no, that happened.
Fuck that bug,
uh,
by the way. Like, that
I
has
would
happened
have
to me
beaten
and I'm
Stockstar if that didn't happen, but
There you go.
whatever.
I haven't had the pleasure of experiencing that one just yet, but I'm sure it's coming.
You have to have
Oh!
it, Coaster.
Bonk, 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 bonk. It's the bonkening.
and bye-bye.
It's like I can never tell what supply the Infernal's at. Is this their army or are they just splitting? I'm used to play against Wriggle, who plays macro games, long games pretty well, and he's like, this will be like half of his army, but there's other Infernals not. That's
I mean,
their
after
entire army.
killing that much, he could.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like I know I've won the game. I just I don't want to fight straight up because
You
I
could
lose the
triple scan to everything,
Yeah.
The scan
There's
is
so much
cheap.
power there. There's so much power. Power
Like
should
10
really be
power.
reserved
So
for.
it's half power bank for the scan.
Yeah, but it takes so long. Like it's 7 seconds to regenerate a single point of power.
Yeah, I hate
A
that.
single point,
But-
and you're stuck with that the entire game. No matter what you have,
I
that's
think
permanently just gone. It may as well be permanent. You may as not well like once the late game comes, you may as well not have that at all. So I really, really, really do not want to use any abilities at all from the top bar ever, unless I absolutely need to, which is pretty much just the laser, right? And scan right before like a big fight, absolutely. And then purify during a big fight, yes. But for small things, no, I can't.
I think the counter to that for me would be it's for the higher level creep camps is if you use evolution catalyst and then it's a net gain of power if you just build power banks after you use it because you'll always gain more luminite than you spend in power on the evolution catalyst. Oh,
Yeah, and then this is Filibuster's traded one base for like 3 of his own bases, and I have like the entire map. Ah, it's not
These
so bad.
Archangels will die pretty quickly with those brigands, because this is minus
There we go.
300 debuff. Purify.
There we go.
To remove armor debuff. But armor debuff is crazy. The Archangel with like minus 200 armor actually has 400 effective HP.
Yeah. They're so
That's a
squishy.
I don't know
so
either.
it's like typically they have like a third less, so it's more like 60 HP once they've gotten hit by the Shadowflares.
Yep.
Yeah,
They
but
insta die.
all those,
Yeah.
all
And
those.
also-
You have to make sure that you get the kill though, because if you don't, then the Shadow Flyers are just money that evaporated. You know.
Yeah, the
Sure.
strongest combo that Infernal can do is Shadow Flyer, armor debuff on your Archangels, and then use Dragon, both abilities, and Archangel gonna get almost one shot. Because Dragon deals 25% max half damage. The second ability that take away first. Nice Meteor Strike on all units and GG.
Weaver's multiple Archangels. Lovely sight to
Oh
see.
yeah.
Oy, oy,
So
oy.
the combo is Shadow Flyer, Dragon use the Q ability, the Infest, and then
Right.
take away Infest, and yeah, it's 25% base from max HP. If you have armor debuff, it's like 55% of max HP of Archangel. It's quite a lot.
You know what's actually really satisfying? Purifying an Archangel while it's getting hit by Shadow Flyers. Without the armor debuff, they just face tank get nothing. Like
Oh yeah. Ay ay ay.
Thanks so many. Especially if
Wait,
you do that
Is this the game we just
a
played?
scythe with its shield active. Oh,
We casted that.
good.
I
Was
felt.
this game 3? Yeah, this must have been game 3.
This was game 2. Or 3. Maybe it was game 3. Maybe we missed game 2.
I think we did miss game 2.
Game 2 must have been. I think. Was it?
You versus Filibuster game 1.
Scroll down, maybe? Game.
Yeah.
It's probably
There we
further
go.
down. Yeah, there it is.
Game 2. What? Ruination again.
Wait, how?
Or did he
Huh?
just label the same replay 2 different things? Is it 2 copies of the same replay, but it's named? It has different names.
I don't know. I mean, I definitely put 3 different replays there. In the Discord chat, but maybe a couple.
Go to
Really?
game 3. Yeah, it's exactly the same. I see the timing.
No, it's. We definitely didn't play on the same map twice. Like,
Oh. Frank, hydrate yourself.
Oh yeah. I haven't drank any water yet. Okay, game 3 then.
okay, game 3. Ah, yeah, just keep
Mhm.
scrolling down. Yeah, try that one. Try it.
Click.
Jay, are you actually talking to someone, or are you memeing right now?
Oh,
I'm just
Day
responding
night.
to whatever people are saying in Discord.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Day
Jay,
night.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Alright, yeah, I guess I clicked on the wrong one 3 times in a row. Awesome.
Lovely.
Alright, but it's tied up. Best of 3. Here we go.
It's okay, Frank. I forgive you.
Let's see here. Oh, is this day and night? Yeah, this is day and night. Titan's Causeway, day and night.
Okay, Kid Cudi.
There we go. Watch the shadows. The shadows are. Oh, look, we're shadow maxing.
What song is that?
Kid Cudi, Day and Night.
Who's Kid Cudi?
You know, that's a great question,
Damn it,
but
Jay.
for our purposes,
You know who it
a
is.
person who makes music.
He wants to feel old. Thank you,
Kit
Eva.
Kat is a food. Soup, candy.
Okay, to be
Kit Kat.
honest, it's just like it's a familiar name.
That's because, like most people, He had one song you'll know him for, and 1,000 songs you won't. But that's okay.
2. No, he had 2 songs. He had Day and
Oh.
Night and
So he was a one-hit wonder.
yeah. There was another song that was really good as well, but he just kind of fell
He's
off.
like the One Piece, but I'm not waiting 1,000 episodes to see him get back on track.
So,
Mm.
I can't believe I don't remember the other song that he did.
Like I said, he's got about 1,000 songs you don't know. That
No,
Hey,
Eva,
you just-
Eva,
you
no,
just found-
it's really good.
Found 1/10 of 1% of them. Thank you so much.
Oh my god, I really want to Google this right now, but the sound will cut out if I tab out, and no one
No,
else
please
can
tab
obs.
out to discover this second song. I think we can carry this, We've been
Itano, do
trolls
it,
under the bridge for so long.
please.
If,
No, I
mean,
need
if
to know
it's
now.
using the game sound, then we can just make the sound ourselves.
It's I
Okay,
can like
yeah.
hear the tune in my head right now.
Okay, that's
Pursuit
cool.
of Happiness. Pursuit of
Yeah.
Happiness. That's what it is.
Is it Ice Baby?
Close. It's very close to that, but instead of being in the 90s, it was in 2010 or 2009. No, it
Oh,
must have been
so-
2009.
What?
Oh, so it was
What?
just a
Hexen-
bad facsimile of the 90s. Got it. Okay.
Hexen did good job tanking total damage. So
Yes.
Fiend should not die. Okay, he survived that one.
Yeah, 3
great,
fiends is
Minecraft.
perfect. But that means he's got to chill in the health camp for a little bit longer now.
He went for double Luminate base. On this map as the Infernal, I would recommend go the bottom base into double
Yes.
Therium.
Yes.
This is
This
the
one?
best path. Yeah. Because you need
Well,
the
because you
Therium.
have to. There is one other way, Aurel, which is if you have pre-committed to just saying, I'm going to try and get the corners to offset that, but I think that's a bold ask.
I mean, he can technically go for the top left base
Yes.
and double Therium there, but this is too close to Celestial that can quite easily abuse that. Just make
I meant the-
Archangel.
I don't mean
Go
going
there.
for the. I don't mean going for the Therium there. I mean the only up that I've seen this work and not be bad for the Infernal player
Oh, he went
is
for
if they're
that,
gonna
yeah.
take the Therium camp in the upper left and the bottom right.
Oh,
Yeah.
not the Therium base, the Therium camps. I gotcha.
Yeah, you can take the camp to kind of offset the problem, but you have a problem when your opponent has more microvolt faster units than you. So it's not recommended.
See that? I just killed like all his fiends.
2 guns and 3 guns.
That-
3 wins, yeah.
The armor these creeps get as they run back to their starting position actually trolled you pretty hard there.
Do they get an armor buff as they're running back?
They
They
have
are
to, 'cause they're just-
immortal.
Yeah, I just saw
They-
I saw a Hexen
they
and
take
4
no
guns
damage.
chase, and yeah, okay, I didn't know it was immortal. That's insane.
Mm.
Because I saw a Hexen and 4 Gaunt's fire projectile
add-
that I think that had like 5% hits and it just lived.
Yeah, they add that when because people was pulling creep camps like away.
Yeah.
Like for example, siege camp they get
Yeah.
no damage, and was dealing damage to creep camp and clearing it for free. So this technically is a way to make creeps harder to do.
So what that means
And
to me
Misa
is there's no
Tobara.
hard. That means to me there's no Aurel, there's no hard leash range. There's only a leash range around how far the unit gets pulled from its current position, but not from how far it gets pulled from its home position. Which is very strange.
But I say it's 4 base Infernal versus 2 base Celestial at the moment.
2 base. Because he's
Yeah.
not having any workers.
I mean he has 4 bases.
He's got no workers.
So-
on 4 bases. Doesn't count.
Oh, there's an imp.
There's no workers. That's making up for the workers he's missing in the name. Because that's not even fully saturated.
That's
I mean, this is Infernal that can use top bar ability to refresh charges, but Febuster instead is spamming FPG, is spamming Nightfall Infestation to fight these vectors instead of respawning the Cryptcans. This is a huge difference between a good Infernal and a weaker one. They spam FPG too much, they use Nightfall Infestation when they should use the respawn on the charges
Effigy is
and
mandatory.
get the eco.
I'm most scared of Effigy than anything else. Nightfall Infestation, though, I definitely agree. Like that's something you can use against Argents, but you can't use that ability against.
No, yeah, it's a complete option. It's optional for vectors to get hit by nightfall, or by nightfall. If a vector gets hit by
It's not
nightfall,
optional, they just shouldn't be getting hit.
yeah.
I like
Shrouds.
getting FVG after getting tier 3 upgrade to FVG that make it double size. So technically you use 50% less FVG, less ammunitions for that.
Mm.
And Snockler said the same thing to like 6 minutes. You just respawn the creeps, respawn the charges on shrines.
That's 4 guns.
He lost 5.
4 guns. Yeah, four guns before the soft watch. I was tracking. Pretty bad.
He shoots from left side. Left side, destroy these trees and go there. Where are the vectors? Where are vectors? Okay, in natural base they gonna go for base rate scenario, I guess, or fight that army. Oh, this is gonna be nice.
Yes.
Because you put the laser on the front and you kill them.
Yeah, cutting off the retreat path is good. These are 3
Oh,
Hellborn.
2 Hellborns.
Yep.
Nightfall infestation again.
People think vectors
I
are like
guess-
wing stalkers, but they're more like phoenixes.
Yeah.
3 Hellborns lost like that.
Yeah, and not enough damage inside of this base right here to actually.
And he lost
compensate.
all guns from lasers. No. His entire army died to Soulwatch. He's probably really mad about the Soulwatch.
Mm.
But this was a kind of mistake from him. Going into Soulwatch, just move back.
This is
Hellborn
the
has
second game
more
we've
range
seen
than
where he did that.
Soulwatch.
Actually, Aurel, this is the second game we've watched where he is just allergic to retreating for the 15 seconds, right?
Yeah,
I know
but
it's
this
20
is the
seconds.
reality. If he moved back, wait a bit, then he would just beat that. He would not lose 3 Hellborns that coming back.
But then the
That was
attack
a
is
huge
over
mistake.
because by the time it's over, then the vectors come back and it's no longer.
There
Yeah,
is
but the
nothing that
counterpoint to
can
that, Frank-
stop Infernal pushing you until you have Archangels. This push can't be stopped with just vectors.
Also,
Yeah, I mean, if you're
backed
getting infest off onto the main army, then that like pushing into Sovereign Watch is still actually fine. That's still worth it. But my army wasn't there, so he wasn't getting that. All he was doing.
Yeah.
Sovereign Watch
Also,
was
Frank,
no
if he had
infest.
backed up from the soft watch, then he would have actually repositioned his army alongside those 2 upcoming Hellborn and 2 upcoming Gaunts.
That
Right.
will be 6 Hellborns and 6 Hellborn one-shot the
Yeah,
vector.
now that's and that's where you have big problems.
Yeah,
And I
they
think
one
there
shot
was
a vector and then they have to recharge for another 1 second, 1.2 seconds, and then they fire again. They're just so slow that, and against light units they don't even do that much. I don't know. Hellborn are not. I still think that the really mobile units, the really mobile mech units for Vanguard and Celestial are the answer to Hellborn. Because the amount of money that they need to dump into making enough Hellborn to one-shot them isn't. I think you don't get the value that you want out of those trades. Because okay, like
I agree.
one vector is gone. Like okay, who cares? You still manage to wipe out or do like all kinds of damage, and then you can retreat and heal up.
like this game. The problem of Febaster is not having Therium at all. I think you have base
Agreed.
on the bottom right to mine the Therium. But remember,
Yep.
this map has so little Therium, so you can't afford Archangels
Right.
as much as you want. And Infernal can't
isn't-
afford stuff
I
as
agree.
well.
Well,
The camps at least.
this is
good, but
This is what we talked about, or what I mentioned before, Aurel, is that, Fleabuster could have been fine. He had captured the Therium camp to the upper left and to the bottom right at the same time as choosing to make that base expansion choice. But that just gets really, he's just going to do it again. Another one.
I agree.
He's
I
going to
agree.
outlet the shit out of these imps.
Is this just
It's
the end?
kinda over at this moment.
Yeah, I think it is all over.
It might actually be over by force.
I don't think I can
agree.
pull something out with things, but yeah.
The
Fest is just very
Febaster
strong.
win condition is cutting you from mining Therium. If he cut him from mining Therium on bottom right side, you
Yeah.
actually have a chance to win. But
mining
as
it
you
from the
can
top
see,
left
this
as
is
well.
free.
I think. Yeah, I'm mining it from the top left. You have
I
a duck?
agree.
Long distance mining, I
think-
guess.
yeah, there we go.
No prism yet. And now it starts, yeah.
I agree.
I was just about to ask Jay if you
Problem-
agreed or not.
The problem you have with this, if you're Infernal, is that you want to believe the problem is Archangels, but this game is pretty slanted against Filibuster by the time the first Archangel did land.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first Archangel was
Agreed.
around 8 minutes. To this time, he would be able to win that with just good
Yeah.
timing attack. He got 8 minutes to
Yeah.
kill you before he got Archangels.
The fight here where he lost like 5 Hellborn, I think that might have been
Yes.
the turning point. He's been behind ever since
And
that.
that was just to Vectors. Like, he had the counter army to Vectors,
Yeah,
but
Yeah,
he still
yeah,
lost
yeah.
to
Right.
Vectors.
Exactly.
I
Right.
agree.
I agree.
Exactly. Archangels,
Yeah.
vectors. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And
Jay,
now
are
gonna
you
be
just
pushed
mad
on the
libbing
bottom
whatever
left.
we say? Because this is the best Mad Libs I've ever heard
This
of.
is chat JXP.
He's like,
it's
I agree. Archangels, Therium.
yeah, it's literally just he's
Oh,
feeding
yeah,
our conversation
Ethereum.
into chat JXP, and like this is what we're getting out.
Chat JXP. That's
True.
fucking beautiful. I love that.
And the Luminite.
Oh, yeah.
Archangel.
The Shadowflies died to the Archangel's melee attack instead of
yeah.
actually landing onto the Archangel.
Yeah, because he
Archangel.
didn't make them on the patrol or a mode. The Shadowfires was pure on the move command. And Archangel was able to kill them before they hit.
Yeah, the move command.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Vector Archangels, and Therium. Can't forget. Am I doing it right, Jay?
Ah.
No. It's just kind of
Yeah.
rough
Yeah.
because now
Therium.
it's gonna be a while before Filibuster leaves.
Yeah,
But-
Filibuster.
8 minutes.
Yeah,
He's
8
not-
minutes.
Shut
Definitely
up,
not
Jay!
what
Oh my
to move.
god!
Yeah.
Yeah, shut up. Yeah.
Like I said, there is huge window for the Infernal player to kill in Celestial when there is this window when he taking it to Archangels. Like this is technically 7 minutes window where there is only vectors. I get used to play versus Noxer in the customs, and actually I'm forced to get Seraphine as well because he get this timing push at 6 minutes if I just vectors Archangel. Can usually kill my area or make this game kinda hard to do. So I play the Vector Seraphim more often, be able to fight him. And also I can respawn the creep comes with top deck. That is great. To speed up the Archangels. And there gonna be big fights splitting on the Hellborns. Meteor Strike go well. Avatar activation gonna be in a moment.
Actually-
Yeah, the first Avatar activated.
I actually think those Archangel
The others run
collisions
through that,
were,
I think.
those Archangel meteors were actually not very good. But
No, I
it doesn't
agree.
matter.
There were two that landed right there that did nothing, but it just doesn't matter.
I mean, I'm playing with 200 ping in the break. More than that. You know.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
you're playing
fair enough.
better than I can play if you really wanna. If you're looking for a break, that's the biggest one I can give you.
These are getting pretty low. I should retreat.
GG's.
Nah.
I always want to make sure to just constantly retreat with Archangels. Even if you think you're about to win, just retreat. Like, there's nothing to cost you. You just heal up and then you go back again. It's like a battle cruiser with teleport.
Yes.
Just
We already.
you know,
I think
filling
we
your
already
base
did
and then
these.
teleporting back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was playing Vanguard there.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Now
getting.
that's gonna be
This is like the entire group stage for the Tavern's Mug, all in one video. It's gonna be the longest video I think I've ever had.
I like how
it's
we
gonna
have
be
different.
6
I
minutes.
like how we have different metas of cast at this point.
Yeah.
By the way, We've got the JX. We've got the chat JXP meta.
We love
We have the
changing
dad jokes meta. We have the dad jokes meta.
Yeah, dad jokes when it was just you, like it was just Atano and you.
Itano and who?
Don't go there.
You.
Don't go there.
Go where?
Oh my
I might
god.
head out because I'm hungry and I want to have lunch.
All right, hasta lasagna, man. Thank you for coming on.
See ya.
Thank-
Bye bye you.
Take care.
Bye bye, you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Who?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I-
this is Seraphim build. We
Stream.
love Seraphim build.
Stream.
Seraphim. Yeah.
Stream. Okay, we're good.
Stream. Oh, hello everyone. So this is Seraphim build, my lovely one that I created. I was the person who was playing first person that was building Seraphims, first person that was building Archangels, and for 6 months I was saying to people that Seraphim is good and Archangel is good. No one trusted me, and now everyone play Archangels. That's the truth.
Mm.
You didn't. You tell me you didn't get on the Kree when Kree were like way overpowered and they could move while
No,
still
I was
exploding.
playing Archangel.
Come
Aurel,
on.
you know why they
hate
call them
Iranians.
You know why they call them archangels, right? Because you have to put everyone in a boat and then carry them out of all these bad celestial matchups, right? For 40 days and 40 nights. And by the time they get out, you end up looking like a saint. So that's why it's called the archangel. You just carrying the celestial matchups.
Actually, Oreo, I have a
Yeah.
question about this build. Why don't you put arrays on? Why don't you build the second and third arrays for this build?
Problem is with this build, it's really tight. You can see my illuminate. I have almost always under 100 illuminate. This build are really tight, and you can't afford arrays because you're gonna have less archangels on the timing.
Hmm.
This build is like timing. You play 3 Legion halls, and you get 3 Legion halls. Then you get Morph Core for Therium Purifier, because actually you need 6 prisms on Therium to afford Archangels.
Wait,
Total.
what's going on with Seraphim damage? Because against those slimes, against the health camps, right? It does 1/3 of the damage for the first hit, and then it goes from the next hit goes from the first hit sends it from 3/3 to 2/3, and then the follow-on hit sends it from 2/3. You would think would go down to 1/3. It sends it to 0.5 of a third.
I think it's because
Like-
the
Yeah, it's strange. But the bonus for Seraphim is like 300% damage bonus, so they deal base 40, so X3.
I think it's
so
a visual.
28.
It's a visual thing on the health bars. I think, Atano. I've noticed that too.
So they deal 42 damage per hit to creep camps
Yeah.
if they have energy.
It doesn't. I don't think it uses energy, right? Because the energy is only
out
used for the
of-
dash.
No, energy is for the attack.
Ah, yeah, you're right.
You-
You're right. I can. Yeah.
If
I'm
you
watching.
don't have energy, Seraphim not gonna deal bonus damage to creeps. So
Yeah.
actually what we're doing right now, as you can see, I'm going to tier 3 right now. After getting 3 Legion halls in my main, yup. Yeah. I'm gonna start it when I get money. I build the Morph Core. Morph Core is flying towards Therium. Right now, if you go up a bit, third base, yup, here. And
This is
this
very
Morph Core
similar
gonna
to-
transform into Therium Purifier.
This is very similar to the build you did against Mixu in that tank where the two of you were in the finals and went all 5 games, actually.
Yeah, that's one of the evolutions that I created.
Okay.
First time when I show it was in the final versus Noxter.
Mm.
I prepare it and to beat him. The triple Seraphim into Archangels. And right now we're flying around like oracles and we're harassing him as much as we can. So we can delay his pre-guns, delay his shadow flyers as much as we can. With this micro. We killed like 10 imps.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Because,
Pretty good.
Yeah, The Seraphim works kind of like Oracle in StarCraft, but you need quite a bit more of them.
Also, I noticed the first camp you took was the energy camp, so that you can actually do all of these things. Because you were running pretty barren on the tier 3 camp.
Yeah, the energy camp
For the
is
first
to
three.
have energy for Luminate and Tirium camp,
Yeah.
Yes.
and this is global region.
So
Because
worth
Celestial
using the
units
top
don't
bar?
have energy region outside. You need to be in the Cascade field to get any region at all, or power banks. You don't get energy region when you are out of the map. So this energy camps are really great for Seraphim. So we're going back to the main again.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, 3 Archangels are on the way at this moment, yeah.
3,
makes sense.
4, 5, 6, 7,
7,
8.
8.
Oh, not
Nine.
2
Now
Shadow
split.
Flyers. Oh my god.
We split, so only 4 Seraphims got damage. And Archangels are out.
You can also attack
you-
the flower camp and just turn around and face tank if you really wanted to.
Yeah, you need 4 Shadow Flyers to one-shot Seraphim. And you can one-shot infinite amount of Seraphim with 4 Shadow Flyers. And now you can see my supply go up to the sky, because we have lovely unit.
Well, you also have every camp. Like, you're breaking the parity for the camp across the map.
Yup, and we're getting
You have
another
2/3 of
Morph
them.
Core for Tyrion Purifier. This build order not work like usual builds. You have Seraphims, you build power banks, you respawn the camps, level up the camps, and clear the camps. You're not gonna expand, you're not gonna build a rise. This build can keep you to 300 supply of Archangel Seraphim if you want vectors as well. But you need to constantly micro Seraphims on the map to clear the camps constantly non-stop.
What's the break point? I've heard you say level 5 camps are really good for Luminite Therium, but is there an actual point at which you think, okay, if I just have this is where the reset is so good? Because a lot of this was impacted by the nerf to how much you get for each camp in terms of Luminite and Therium.
Yeah, but level 5 camps give you 1000 Illuminate.
Oh, then it's just over at that point. Fair enough.
Yeah, GG.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Norvash.
There's nothing mining.
Because there was
nothing mining.
Archangels that float and kill all imps, but we
You
missed
killed
them.
like 17 or 18 imps, something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
on the first 2 runs of Seraphim.
True.
All right.
True. True.
True.
And here I thought True
So
was
how-
a StarCraft player.
And the best part about this build order, if you make a single mistake, you delay your Archangels, you can actually just die.
I love your energy. Hey, and the best part about this build order is you just immediately risk death if you fuck up anything to any extent.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
This is like
that's
how
totally
playing
fine.
Celestial. I don't like float money at all. So when I see 1000 Illuminate or 1000 Ethereum, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. But I play like on this total risk. If I make a single mistake in the build order, I'm dead.
I think
So you
the
can see,
numbers in
people call me
Stormgate
greedy.
are really interesting too. Like the same way that supply doesn't mean the same thing in Stormgate that it does in StarCraft. Like I know we have like max 300 supply, but it doesn't feel like 300 supply. Same thing with
Yeah, because units
with
has
resources.
2 supply costs. We don't have 1 supply cost unit besides Gaunt and Fiend. Everything else costs a lot of... No, and
Fiend?
workers.
Yeah, and workers.
Fiend and Gaunt costs only 1 supply. Everything else besides workers costs above 2.
Yeah, but I think
In
the same
StarCraft you have
the same feeling
Zergling
applies
that
to the
is half.
resources. Like
Yeah.
floating 1,000 to me as Infernal means like, okay, that's 3 Hellborn, which doesn't feel like a lot, The
Yeah,
numbers
because
are...
you can spend it quite fast. Compared to StarCraft, for example, there is a Zergling that is half supply, Marine that is 1 supply, And the difference between these games and the StarCraft, for example, it's gonna be much longer for you to spend this 1000 compared to Stormgate, for example. Because units are more expensive, that's one. And StarCraft has this really cheap, fast building units that makes require you to have a lot of production facilities. If you don't have production, you're not gonna spend this money. You know, in Stormgate, you're gonna spend it somehow because units are expensive and build time is quite long.
Yeah, I wonder if they
And what we
like
s-
lowered the cost for units, and they like if they lowered the cost for supply and resources for units. Like, does Frost Giant want bigger battles, or are they okay? Like, is this open enough for them? I mean, this is a pretty big alleyway to be having battles in, but like, would it be cooler? Would players enjoy it more if they were controlling larger armies, or is it fine having the prices for each unit be what it is now, and having
Depend really what you
Yeah.
what goal is this. The easier is to for new player to play Stormgate than StarCraft 2. This is for sure. The 1v1 mode at least. Because spending money is much easier.
yeah,
Much easier.
the not having to like remember which hotkey I put which buildings on is super nice. I really like that.
Yeah,
It'll-
that's also true. But I mean, in the cost of units, the more expensive units are, then less time you need to actually spend that money.
yeah.
Like Infernal never floats a lot of resources. Maybe not Infernal. Vanguard, Celestial, and Infernal actually. They can't spend, let's say, 2000 Ruminate, 2000 Therium in few seconds.
No.
For example, Vanguard when they play mech. Infernal just make few Hellborns, Weavers, and they out of the resources. Celestial
I do
just
think
make
that's-
Archangel button and 1000
That's
resources.
pretty wild for Vanguard.
for two
I do
units.
understand. I do understand their complaints for that exact reason, Aurel. It's that like, so what happens if you fall behind? Well, as long as you don't hit your card cap limit for Infernal, you will be punished, but it's not as obvious, right? You can just
Yeah.
spend the resources. Celestial much the same way. Vanguard, now that you've played, like I know you had played a lot before, but it's the difference is stark when you actually play it. Like
Yeah,
more of like,
Vanguard,
wait, so what do I do
Celestials.
with my extra 800, 400? I get bent, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, get faster. Don't fuck up as often. Like, it reminds me
Yeah,
a
the
lot.
difference
Actually,
is when you play Bio as Vanguard, then you have this kind of StarCraft 2 job to do that is actually spending money
yes.
much harder because you need more production facility. That means this is the reason why many Vanguards has hard time on lower elo because they play Bio but they don't add production, and they play, for example, 4 bases on 5 Raxes when 5 bases is like 60 Raxes of constant production
Yeah, what you need is you need 2 production structures for every base.
per base.
And,
yeah.
and your command post is one of those structures until you don't need the workers anymore.
And
Right?
this is actually true. And by the way, that's how you should use vectors. You blink, and then when there is opponent, you recall. I don't think using vectors like, going into fight and blinking back is efficient. It requires
Kind
too
of
much
work the
micro.
opposite. Yeah.
Look at this. I go deep. I can go deep, and he can come to my army, and I'm gonna recall instantly. But instead he go for counter attack. I activate Soulwatch instantly, build Guardian Nexus, and this Guardian Nexus give my ally 25 armor, so that make my ally survive longer a bit. So I get more value from the Sovereign Watch. And now we micro our vectors.
Once you kill the Hellborn, the rest of it is pretty nice, because Purify stops the Infest from being a problem and stops the Skull of Shedda from triggering it as well.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
And
we
you did-
didn't trade efficient, but we killed a lot of walkers. in third base of Infernal. We cancel his another base. And we lost Arai, yeah, sure. But we did good trade. Now we're floating a lot of money as I am because we doing transition into Vector Seraphim.
Where's the... Oh, here it is.
I'm playing Vector Seraphim into Archangel because I want to have priority on the creep camps on the map. To clear them early so I get a high level faster. And now we're doing recall micro. See?
It's so funny to me that the projectiles keep going even after you teleported.
Yeah. Usually I just go for my speed cam, blink, and from the speed cam I go to his third base. And when his army is there, I'm recall from half the map. And Seraphim Vector actually beat army of Gaunt Hellborn. The way to beat that army is actually getting Shot of Flyers and apply debuff on Seraphims.
Well, the other thing is that the way you take the fight, you can't just win that back to forward, right? You have to attack the Hellborn. You have to attack the Hellborn and then pull the Gaunt.
And now you can see I surge Matrix, so my units deal 20% more damage. In this area you can click Vector or Seraphim. Yeah, it's surged, so you can click Vector or Seraphim, you're gonna see they deal more damage.
We really need a visual indicator to see what the range is for the buff. I have no idea if like the buff reaches all the way out here or if it's just like here.
You see the vision? It's the range.
The vision range, okay.
Yeah, it's the same. The range of buff is the same like range of vision. And now Seraphim's clearing creep comes. Level 2.
And then revive it and do it again.
Right now I don't think I can afford that. Because I would do that if that was Therium camp. But we have a lot of Illuminate. There is no reason to get more Illuminate at this stage of the game. Now we see Shadow Flyers. On the left side of the map we have vectors that gonna go blink forward in a moment. Yeah, and we're doing that. Blink forward, going to third base, kill what we can. If he comes there we're gonna recall. And now we see Gaunts, recall. This is how you use vectors.
You can also do this when you see the first fiends, because most people are grabbing all of their combat units and then not sorting by the fact that the fiends are faster. So
yeah, but I want to get some value before that, so I can actually kill some fiends before I recall, before losing vector.
Sure.
But yeah, this is good way as well to play that.
You're just so Ethereum starved right now.
Yeah, the map don't have that much Ethereum. I mean, it's hard to get, you know. Because this base is hard to defend. And bottom right side, if they get the vision camp, they have a vision range on the prisms.
They also don't
Actually,
have to win.
I hate vision camps in the game. The vision camps in the Stormgate are in the spots that give you vision often on the bases. When in the StarCraft, for example, Xel'Naga is in the middle to see the army moving. In Stormgate, you have vision camp on bases.
I think that's really interesting, actually, because it makes the vision camp valuable not just for looking at the armies, but it's looking at it's like for siege ability too. Like on Boneyard, where the siege units can start attacking workers from the low ground if they have the vision camp. Yeah. It makes the vision camp really valuable.
I'll be the hater and say I'm just not convinced that vision camps or Xel'Naga watchtowers are any good, but you know, if you're gonna have creeps, might as well have them be a Xel'Naga watchtower stand-in. Makes sense.
Yeah. Now we research the upgrade for Seraphim, that turn off static defense. My favorite upgrade, no one does that. but
Yeah,
I like it. in
really,
my
nobody
way.
does it.
By the way, I loved how you. I could tell what happened there is that you microed the vector on seeing that he was controlling the Magmadon and might be stomping, and as soon
Yeah,
as
I
you
was-
realized that it was just like A moving, you just flashed back in to get the kill.
Yeah, true.
It was very nice.
Woo, that was a lot of games. All right, guys, I am spent. I have real life stuff I gotta go
What?
do. Yeah,
I'm
Four
I don't know.
hours
I didn't
and-
even say.
unless
How much
I
money?
didn't even
Oh.
say anything.
Jay, this
was-
Stormgate crash has gone on for about
Yeah.
3.5 hours now. I don't
4
think.
hours.
Yeah, 4 hours probably is more accurate because we didn't start.
Because on the stream you can see how long you stream.
But we didn't. I didn't have anyone in voice chat for like the first hour. I think. I was doing random replays.
You gotta ping us. You gotta ping us.
Oh.
You gotta ping us.
Who? I don't know who wants to ping. Who wants
That
to be
is
pinged
not what
to
I
get on the
thought
couch?
you said. I'm so glad you repeated it. Oh, jeez. Okay,
What,
all right.
What could I? What
Now
could I
I'm
have
going to
said?
bed. Bye.
All right, night. Jay, do you want me to ping you in the future?